Welcome to Plat Chat Overwatch, episode 266. Guys, I have news. My rant at the intro of last week, it didn't work. We got the same amount of viewers in the first 30 seconds, so I don't need to provide the energy this time around. So we're laid back this time. We're laid back. Sorry we're late, by the way. We were talking about password managers for 10 minutes, and we just needed to talk about password managers. And so,
Joel, swear with the first 30 seconds.
We can't do that. We can't do that. No.
Don't do it. Someone hold him back.
Solomon needs to put a timer the first 30 seconds. So as soon as it zeros, Joel can just unleash. Just start unleashing like a sailor.
Dude, he's got such a potty mouth, this guy.
British.
That's
it. That's
British sailing.
British. We'd go out to a public place, like we'd be at a bowling alley. There'd be like 3 kids next to us in the lane. Over, and he'd be like, "Fucking ball, fucking shit,
dude."
It wasn't that bad, bro. I just said fuck a few times, man.
Oh my god.
Who do you think you are? I can actually doing the fucking.
I can actually relate to that. I think that had happened to me with Jaws. I think some of the time, or maybe not Jaws. Maybe I'm just calling you out now, but that's definitely happened to me.
Could be other British
that is the worst.
What's the meme of? What's the SpongeBob meme of like the fish parent? She's like moving away her fish children because something crazy is happening.
Yeah,
that's Jaws in a bowling alley.
Yeah, it's actually
it's Jaws in a bowling alley.
Oh it's like God. The fish parent's like, oh my god, this person's crazy. Like,
dude, I was crazy one there, man. Connor was the crazy one. He was hitting fucking strikes and shit. That was crazy.
Yeah, that's true.
He's good bowler. It turns out.
Just know, love me or hate me, you were watching. Love me or hate me, you were watching.
I still have the video of Kurt eating shit as well, actually, him slipping over.
Can we get like a
there it is. Children at the bowling alley when Josh shows up in the next lane over.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Fuck!
Can we get one of those swear jars or whatever? And then every time Jaws curses, we can like put a something
swear jar. I mean, that's more effective than like a 401k. Like that shit
would be
busted.
You put that in a pub at 6 p.m. on a Friday evening in the UK in the middle of nowhere. That shit is making bang.
Go to Swindon Town. Go to Swindon Town. Have some have mushy peas, steak pie, gravy. Go to the bar afterwards.
With the Norwich
Strandle, you can tell.
Norwich.
Norwich, yeah.
Norwich.
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 Yeah, of course. You don't know
what
Norwich?
The W? You don't pronounce the W?
Ipswich.
Norwich.
Ipswich.
Ipswich. See, I saw that. I thought that was something you turn on to like
switch.
Lag people out, like in a video game. Yeah.
Oh, the switch. Yeah, the IP switch.
I thought that was Ipswich.
Ipswich.
Yeah, that's where it was made. Actually, that's where it got its name.
Came from
Portsmouth.
There, you know.
Yeah.
+2. This one's for the IT guy.
This is the IT heads out there. This is the InfoSec guys out there.
Do they have any pubs in Yeovil Town?
Yeovil? I mean, okay.
I mean, surely there's a pub in every single British town.
I'm pretty sure. So, like, there's more pubs on every single corner than there are people in the UK, I swear. Like, there was a point in time where I grew up where there was literally a pub. It's a sailing town, though, to be fair, from Portsmouth, you know, but literally a pub on every corner. A lot of them closed down by now, but my God.
And, dude, it is awesome. I mean, I just went to London for a week, but it was awesome. You just stop by a pub, you walk for 15 minutes, go to the next one, and you just it's nice. You get fish and chips.
They call that the
get a nice beer.
They call that the crawl.
Yeah, but I didn't really have intention about pub crawling. I just crawled. Like it was just a way of life. Just like, yeah, let's go. And then they have some silly names, so just like the blacksmith and the hen or something, and you just walk in and they're just like, yeah, give me one of those. With some chips.
I'm imagining Johnny physically crawling, and he's still taller than average adults. He's on all fours, and he's still like
crawl.
Dude, what have you been eating over there, man? What have you been munching on? Do you see this guy?
What you don't realize is once again, what I've done is I've inserted something in there, just briefly. I've incepted a topic to throw off the entire podcast, and I'm just sitting back eating while you chat away. Just give me the opportunity.
That's why I'm asking.
You got a hot dog there? You got a sausage roll?
What's he got?
You
got a wrap.
Muffins.
Oh, it looks like a
McDonald's.
roll,
I'm just having
bro.
McDonald's. Hashtag ad. I'm just having McDonald's, okay?
No, not hashtag ad. They're not paying us. Not hashtag ad. They're not paying us, okay? We can't do hashtag ad.
Contenders 2019 was a long time ago, AVRL. They're not sponsoring us.
Yeah, that marketing did work.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you give them free publicity, McDonald's is going to balloon in size in no time. Okay, they're kind of a small underdog company right now, so you can't get.
Yeah, they're a small. You know, they're aspiring to go big.
You never heard of them before. I'm sure plenty of people have never heard of them before.
They're on the path to pro for restaurants right now.
Yeah,
so
path to pro.
Small indie restaurants, what we call that.
All right, we got a big episode today. Exciting week 1 for stage 2. A lot of upsets, a lot of shocking news. Some new players, some new teams as well. Just like a lot of newness around. A lot of like shocking stuff that came through, some upsets. And I haven't even really watched a lot of Korea, but there were some insane upsets over in Korean too.
Whoa,
so
we got 2 guys that watch Korea now.
Oh yeah,
Get ready.
Avast, you're
and one
a
of
Korea
these 2 guys
correspondent,
was very upset, as a matter of fact.
No.
Oh,
Well, yes, but
T1.
we don't talk about that. We don't
How
when you're on the hashtag TWinK lifestyle, you know that you take a loss there. Take a loss there when you're in the hashtag.
how'd the first week of co-streaming go? I know you did it for Champions Clash, but how'd it go?
Champions Clash was like the hard reset. I'm on the DGen schedule fully now. I go to bed non-weekends at 5 a.m. and on weekends anywhere between 8 to 9 a.m. So, okay? I'm on the full. Yeah, it's pretty easy, honestly, once you do the schedule swap.
No one ever asked me how my co-streaming goes.
Yeah, we don't really care.
A bit of different hours. Different hours, I fear.
Oh, this guy, dude, he's beating him when he's dead. This is crazy.
What is
it's
happening,
co-streamer
bro?
on co-streamer violence.
No, AVRL's we're co-stream buddies now. We're co-stream
You're co-stream buddies, yeah.
Yeah. Now we're hanging out. We're talking about
Yanking his
like
chain.
we're talking about humiliation rituals with past exes. Like we're popping off like on the co-streams over there.
Was that the biggest segment? Was it the biggest talking point from the first week?
No,
there was
probably Freya, right? Probably Freya overall.
The biggest segment was actually when Avast was in there. It was me and Jaws discussing the intricacies between twinks and bears and all that.
Oh,
we
yeah,
did do that. Yeah, that was a good time.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, hashtag T1K, Johnny. Hashtag T1K.
T1K, yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
100%.
Hashtag twink.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We'll have some expertise. Now, I'm going to need EMEA help, though, because I will say, because of the schedule, I can only watch North America and Korea. It's not possible for me to watch EMEA. So I hope you guys bring your A game on that one.
Okay, you were not going to watch the EMEA anyway, so...
I did watch it a little bit. I did watch it a little bit last year. In the last stage, I was watching EMEA because it fit with the schedule. But
you would come on the podcast and be like, I'm not watching that region. I'm not.
But I would say that.
He does hate watch a lot.
Yeah.
I would shamelessly hate watch, but now I can't even hate watch, so it doesn't matter.
Okay. I prefer when you hate watch.
No one was happier. No one was happier that NA did better than EMEA than this guy. I just want
it's true. At Champions Clash, I was like,
this guy does not like me. This guy is not a European.
Exposed again.
EMEA has been struggling now. Back-to-back events, EMEA has been struggling. It's a rough go, really, and they have a lot to be proud of. So, you know. All right.
Not as much as T1.
Before we get into talking about all the regions, all the matches, of course, each week we do a segment. Member questions, we take them, and we got the perfect one to answer this one. Of course, Avast. You are our go-to guy when it comes to opinions on a lot of stuff. And here's another question that's right up your alley, and I have no doubt you'll provide an amazing answer. This week's the member question comes from Jelly Shark. Thank you so much, Jelly Shark, for supporting the podcast. The question is, which OWCS China tank has more aura, Among or Roshan?
Roshan.
Oh,
damn.
okay. Well, that is crazy because we all know Roshan's back, right? We've all seen the news.
We did see that. Yes, Roshan's on a China qualifier team.
I'm gonna be because Among is not back, right? Is he back? Is he still playing?
No,
Where
I
is
don't
he
think
at?
so, right?
I don't think
Among
so.
is. He's on a team.
Is he? Is he on a
He's
team?
on a team.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know as much about China. So which team is he on? Because was he on a team? Because he wasn't obviously on Once Again or Milk Tea.
Yep. Oh,
because he obviously wasn't on any of the good teams. No? He wasn't on he wasn't on Weibo and he wasn't on Billy, right? So he wasn't on any of the good teams. So I don't know. I would say
have a team real quick.
Or what was it? What was the secondary team?
TC Rock.
No, what was the other China team that went to
TC?
Was it TC that went to
CC?
CC. Yeah, I was going to say CC. Yeah, CC. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
There he is. I'm gonna be honest though. I think if Roshan comes back and is good this stage, Roshan has aura. I mean, I don't know. I'm saying if he's good, I don't know. He might be hot fucking ass still, right? Like I don't know, but like that was a very particular moment in time with the season 1 Dragon. So like, I mean, Otto and fucking, those guys are back in Korea. So now Otto's not been looking that good, to be honest, but. I do think that like if Roshan looks good in China, that is insane aura gain. I've really been on the aura gain loss train and like, aura loss, aura gain. I do think if Roshan does well, that's ridiculous aura gain. And unfortunately with Mog current Among. Among is a lot of historic aura, but it's been degrading like a radium, radioactive half-life. He's been losing it over time.
Let me
So I do think he
let me
can get some
translate
more
that for you. What Avast is hoping for here is that Roshan is secretly a god tier Overwatch 2 5v5 tank, and because he definitely wasn't good in 6v6. So what's happening here is Roshan secretly, if it's just a solo tank environment, he's just insane. That's
He
what's
could
really
be.
happening.
He could be. Like, what if he hit the grind set and he comes back and he's like, and also if you think about it, in a way, Season 1 Dragons was essentially 5 player. So he's already been playing in the format before. So I mean, like, I just think that like this could be his moment. It would be an insane comeback. Like, this is the type of shit that like
Why?
they're gonna build monuments to him.
Why did the person who asked the question not include Silver 3 into that list?
Is Silver
Dude,
playing?
the Silver
I'm
3.
disappointed.
No.
Come on
How
now.
about this?
Yeah.
The NVM. The NVM.
Neither of these guys are playing, so
2021.
it can't. Doesn't
No, what are
work.
you saying? What are you saying? Look at Solomon. Look up NVM.
NVM is a player in North America, but
no,
like,
not that guy. There was another one. There was
yeah,
the
there
Chinese player.
was a
There he
Chinese
is,
player
there
for
he is.
Valiant, but I don't think they play anymore.
Yeah, they retired for like
retired,
how
yeah.
many years? Like 3 years.
They've been gone
Who's your
for
favorite?
4
Who's your
years.
favorite LA Valiant player? Because mine is this guy for sure.
NVM.
Of all the LA Valiant players, you got to show
Yeah.
all for the former roster. You're like,
2021,
oh,
I believe.
who am I going to pick out of all of these LA Valiant players? I'm going to go with MVM personally. Me.
NVM.
Just me.
I mean, there are
Dude, he's
some
the
names
GOAT.
like, dude, remember fucking. Well, first of all, I think the obvious choice realistically is Crystal. The obvious choice is realistically.
The obvious,
Crystal, but
yes. 100%.
The obvious choice is realistically Crystal, but
The
I
ultimate
do,
bag getter.
no one has moved with that sort of motion in the Overwatch League since then. No one has like
Right.
literally taken paid vacations to go like. What was he doing? Was he cheating
He
or
was
was he just
banging
hanging
his
out with his
girlfriend.
girlfriend?
He was banging
yeah,
his
yeah,
No,
yeah.
the opposite. He was being
He was
overly
so
faithful.
committed. Yeah, he was so
He was
committed
so
that he took
committed.
paid
He
vacations.
ditched his Overwatching team to
No
be with his
one's had
girlfriend.
that sort of motion in the Overwatch League. He was having sex with of-age women faithfully while getting paid to do it. Like no one's
my
had
God,
that sort of
of-age
motion.
women? Dude,
No one's had that
now
sort of
that is
motion in the
unheard of.
Overwatch. That's like crazy motion in the Overwatch League. Crystal literally is generational. That's generational talent. Like that guy's the GOAT. That
That
guy's
sounds
the
like every
GOAT for
man's
fucking
dream
real.
job. How do you get paid to have sex with your of-age girlfriend? Like that's amazing. That's
Be
the
a
best career
Chinese
ever.
flex DPS player. Be a Chinese flex
Yeah.
DPS player in the Overwatch League.
On 3 different Overwatch League teams.
On 3 different Overwatch League teams,
After
you can do it.
after that situation, 2 more Overwatch League teams like, you know what? I want some of that.
They're like, you know what? He's not gonna quit on us. He won't quit on our team.
Oh, no,
will
actually,
not
he did
quit.
quit. He quit
well,
on the
he
spot.
did quit. I guess he did.
Actually,
I
he did.
guess
That's
he did
actually
quit.
exactly what he did, actually.
Well, you know that actually makes him even better because he's more committed to his girlfriend than the grind. And honestly, I
That's
respect
true.
that so much. I respect that so much, bro.
Took the money,
You know, never
started
mind. Crystal
banging.
might be my favorite Overwatch player of all time. I'm not gonna lie. He might actually be my favorite. So yeah, there's the
So
question.
to answer your question, Crystal
There's the
is
answer.
the code.
There we go, Jelly Shark. I hope that answered your question. Thank you so
Well,
much for
it's
supporting the
Roshan
podcast.
Real quick,
if he comes back.
I
and
can
is
tell
good.
you Puckett's answer is Roshan.
Yeah, sure, but
Fuck
yeah,
it,
well,
yeah.
fuck it. I mean, we bring the Unk in. We ask him about 2018.
He's
If you want your question answered, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being a member and supporting the podcast. Do appreciate it. There we go. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's him. He
Wait
he's
for
one
it,
of my
wait for it,
cards.
wait
I don't
for
know
it.
where did he get this from.
It's coming.
Where did he? And then he's got the crazy collection. He's got an absolutely crazy collection here. Look at this collection he's got. So he's like my card. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Most people would have my card. That would make sense. Roshan.
Look at his
Got
face.
the
Look at
Roshan
his
card.
smile.
I was
Real
actually
quick,
so
bro.
tickled. I was tickled by this.
I just want to point out, same shirt.
It's not the same shit. It's a polo versus the T.
This
Dude,
is-
I
you
know,
look
it's-
so
it's similar.
smart.
It's similar.
Dude's
It's
going.
similar.
Dude, look at him. He's going to the fight. He's going to church after this broadcast. Like he looks
Okay.
so smart, man. Look at
Okay,
him.
bro.
We see how
Well,
he's
you know
done
why
his
we have to
hair
do
as
this?
well.
You know why we have to do this? It's because Hex is the producer for the show, and Hex is like, you must wear a button-up shirt. So, like, I have to
Said
wear a
he must
button-up
wear-
shirt.
Wait, was ZP in a button-up? I don't think. I've ever
Yes,
seen
yes, he was. The
Was
only
he?
guy that gets away with not wearing a button-up is fucking Puckett. And so Puckett
Yeah,
can get
Hex
away
ain't
with
telling
not
Puckett
doing
what
it.
to do, bro. Ain't
No,
way.
so like it's so Hex makes us wear a goddamn button-up shirt.
That is very funny.
Yeah, he's
there
wearing
he
his
is, Avast. Oh,
Yeah, he did. He had a Joe Meister,
Oh,
a Seagull, a Roshan. That's a crazy collection, right there.
have a sealed box
And the 2019 desk.
The
Wow.
20. What's this,
Oh, wow.
2018.
Dude, that has to be
I
worth,
still
like,
have
so
one
much money.
sealed. I
That has to
actually
be
have-
worth so
Dude,
much money.
That's like $5 on eBay.
No, that's worth. That's got to be worth. Dude, wait.
Yeah,
Oh, we're
there it is.
nerding out of control.
I do.
Wait, no, wait. Oh yeah, wait. But also at that same time, I'm also pogging out because AVRL just walked in with a zero Coke, zero sugar, zero caffeine Pepsi, I believe. I'm assessing it. He's gonna come back in frame and correct me, but I'm pretty sure that's a 0 caffeine, 0 sugar Pepsi.
This one is still relevant. He plays.
Oh yeah, he's got a Kellex still.
Oh my
That's
god,
actually crazy.
I had OWCS running yesterday
Jail.
on the TV while I was doing work, and Stephanie comes down and goes, "Kellex, is he still playing?" I was
Fresh
like, yeah, Kellex
unopened
is back.
pack.
Kellex is back.
Oh,
Fresh
shit.
unopened pack.
Dude, what if we turn into like an
is that the
Overwatch like card
2021?
opening?
Pack opening.
Actually,
Pack
it's actually
opening.
unopened.
Open it up.
It's actually unopened.
Wait,
Open it up.
are
2021.
you gonna do this?
Right now?
Are you gonna do that? Are you gonna
Yeah.
rip it?
Open it.
You're gonna rip
Alright.
it?
2020 is a good year, bro. It's a vintage.
Joe it,
Gotta rip it
bro.
open. It's
Rip it.
2020.
Let's rip that shit. Oh, you can smell the
my
fumes
God.
coming off that.
Oh wow.
That-
Stop making that noise.
Yeah.
That was disturbing. That was disturbing. The noise you made into the microphone.
Fresh cards. Here we go.
What up?
Who do we got?
Let's take a look. You got to do it the
said-
Pokemon card opening style, where it's like,
I've never done it opening. I don't know. How do I do this without ruining everything? Okay.
You just open it, bro. That's about it.
okay.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, wait.
Oh,
I think I recognize that.
I think it was
I think I
Moth.
recognize that.
Why can't I see it?
I think I
No,
recognize that right off
Solomon.
the bat.
I've been
That's a
deleted.
moth. That's a moth.
Oh!
That's a moth. Let's
a
freaking
moth.
go. Me when I go out to the
Bird
fucking.
ring. Bird
Wait, what?
ring. Oh, let's go.
Okay, my feed is entirely
move
frozen.
on.
My
Move
feed
on.
is dead.
Next card.
My
Next
feed
card.
is entirely
Next card.
frozen.
Next card.
My feed, I
card.
just can't. Okay,
Move
there
on.
we go.
That's
Move on.
something good
Next
bit,
card.
guys. I can't believe I planned that bet all on purpose.
Late
Oh,
young Hio and
it's
Amon.
so
Oh,
true.
look at that. A triple.
All three
Wait, there we
at
go.
the same time.
That's nice. That's nice. Gary!
Wait, that's a ghost
I
card.
Wait, I forgot about
crazy.
Gary.
He's
I
the
forgot
goat.
about Gary.
What
Dude, wait, it's
else?
all the
Wait,
Chengdu Hunters
Chengdu?
pack.
What is this
Is this
pack?
you got a Chengdu
Chengdu-
starter pack, man? You literally got the Chengdu starter pack. What is
pack.
this?
These Chengdu
You actually have the
players.
Chengdu.
my
You have a
God.
full team. You have literally a full Chengdu team here, man.
Wow.
Like in Overwatch 2.
That's
Yeah.
This is crazy.
That's crazy.
Dude, we're just. I fucking pulled this, man.
No
The Jake?
shot. The Jake solo fragment.
fragment.
Oh wait,
was
wait,
having
bring that a little bit
mouse
closer.
power?
Wait, can? Oh wait,
yeah,
is that
yeah.
a solo fragment? Wait, can you make it closer?
Are you sniffing Jake?
That's,
Yeah.
that's good.
I got the
That's
Neko.
good. Wow, that's nice. That's nice. Hoggle
Hoggle
pin!
pin.
Oh my god! No way.
I have
Whoa,
The
What's
analyst
this?
desk again.
Yo,
Wait, Josh with
dude.
hair? That's crazy. Wait, that's another
Whoa.
mayhem.
Oh,
A side
player.
Saya?
Look at
Wait,
that
that's
signature.
crazy.
Signed Sire Blades.
That's nice.
Probably
That's
worth
nice.
$2,000, bro.
Dude,
Probably
that's
not.
crazy.
Wow.
This is, you know what? We should just do this.
We should do this.
Gary
every
Chengdu.png. Gary
He's the
Chengdu.png.
goat.
I got this guy sealed in plastic real quick.
Oh, that's nice. That's
Oh,
actually
wow.
quite nice.
shit. That's kind of cool,
Wait.
actually.
Wait, you've literally glazed him, sort of. You've wrapped him at least.
You need to deposit that at the bank. That's 2022 MVP. No, it's crazy. Wow, that's some good stuff right there.
Can we zoom in? Can we zoom in on Jaws?
Zoom in. Look at that gremlin pose.
Dude, here with the gremlin. What, you're like, that
so
one?
gremlin core. All right, Johnny, what are we going to talk about?
All right, that was Plat Chat Overwatch episode
Oh, that was
266.
it?
Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week. I lost my mouse.
Best part about that.
Sorry,
Was all
I
the
just
audio-
want to. I'm going to derail this real quick. The
Nice.
I saw OWCS
We haven't been railed.
takes.
We haven't been on.
Yeah, that's true. We haven't even been on. The OWCS takes Twitter account. Don't know if you've seen that. There was one today that said Proper is the most overrated player of all time. We should
Well,
discuss
it's hot
this at some
takes.
point.
It's not cold takes. It's hot takes.
I know it's
True.
not cold takes. It's just I
You-
saw that.
I
one.
mean,
was like,
personally,
"Damn."
you're just getting rage baited. So
People were.
That-
Hey, the comment was like, if he was on any other team that was slightly shittier, he only got his like fame and because everybody was circle jerking over shot. Yeah, most overglazed player ever.
look at this. This has 10 likes. We're looking at a 10 like
Twitter account,
tweet.
man.
Why are we
Chill
bringing this
out.
up?
It's a new Twitter
Look at
account.
Did you submit
get-
this?
No, I didn't submit it. I just saw
true.
it this morning.
True. He's planting it.
Are there any? What are the most liked tweets on this account? Did anyone really hit with a banger? Solomon, can we just scroll through the timeline? Did any of those hits? Did any of those
That's a good
tweets
card.
hit? Were there any actual like banger hot takes? Because I respect pro
Players often have garbage
takes
takes on game
balance.
bounce. Sure. I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
Generally speaking, yeah, maybe. Western off
He's
take. Someone's like
bringing some
hot.
Western
Okay, well that's
off
not a hot take. That's just
So yeah, it's
know.
not really a hot take. That's just an idea. That's an opinion.
Kilo would be top.
Kilo would be a top
Not-
three
not a
Freya
single
in the
like.
West.
Not a
I mean, that's all
single
because
like.
they're just fucking raw.
Guys, how would you definitionally determine what is a hot take and what is just a straight up garbage take? 'Cause I'm seeing a lot of garbage takes. Me
SSG to
personally.
replace
So-
Keller the
It's
fraud.
quite. I mean, it's actually quite easy. Any take
Damn.
that I agree with is a hot take. Any take I don't
Okay.
agree with is rage bait. quite easy.
The Majed one is kind of crazy.
Is there
Get Lenny on
anyone
the
that get
meeting.
100 likes here without? Like,
Yeah, I mean, these are. I mean,
anyone.
get Lenny a new
212.
team. Get Lenny a new team. SP5 is Infinite Warfare Watch. Oh, look, there it is. Classic rage bait. There
Yeah,
it is. We're
that's
the
good.
rage
That's
baiting
what he
people
thought,
online.
comments. Look, you mentioned 5v5 and 6v6 in the same sentence, and
It's
boom,
literally so free.
Boom.
It's so free. The interactions are so free.
the interactions just flow.
Yeah, so true, so true.
Wait,
Yeah, so,
wait,
I
there was
mean,
a Plat
honestly,
Chat
they're
one
not-
above
they're
there.
not getting-
There
they're
was
not
a
getting a lot
Plat
of
Chat one up there.
Wait, where was it?
Control F Plat Chat. Control F Plat Chat.
We're
Don't
not.
What are they
encourage,
saying about
don't
us?
encourage people.
Plat Chat can
Over
feel
their
a bit
power
vindicated over
rankings?
their power rankings because a lot of these lower level Korean teams have been punching up. I bet Western teams that started at the top of both regions would lose to Poker Face and
You know what?
Overwatch.
That's honestly that's a. I'm gonna give some credit to.
Give that one a
Avril.
like
They
right
pushed
now.
that one.
Give that one a
That
like right
one-
now.
We'll give some credit to Avril.
Avast on Twitter account.
We're gonna. Yeah, that's fine. The Avast Twitter account can like that. That's fine.
Yeah, we had Poker Face at 11. We had Poker Face at
Yeah.
11.
Yeah,
Which
we
to be
did,
fair,
yeah.
also then they
And then
also
they-
they fucking fumbled the bag.
And they what? They
So,
got
They
swept,
fumbled the
right?
bag
They
in their
got-
second. Yeah, they fumbled
Yeah.
the bag quite hard in there.
Well,
But Old Ocean kind of fucking pounded. So we'll talk about that later.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. The point is, we were maybe not 100% accurate, but we were kind of, a little bit, you know. A lot of opinions about the Ultimates too, which we'll get there. Let's kick it off with the EMEA region. And what better way to start off than talking about Alcadzia, who, if you played Overwatch Fantasy, got a lot of points. Some of the biggest fantasy points throughout the entire weekend. They got 2 great wins. The first one was a map 5 banger against Twisted Minds. A brilliant game to kick off the week. And then also dealt with the Ultimates fairly easy in a 3-1 series here. So did we have I think we had Alcadzia as our second highest EMEA team after VP, did we? I can't recall, but something like that.
We did.
But
I
they
think.
looked really
I'm pretty
good.
sure.
Something to be said about the fact that, you know, they like the Mauga. The Mauga is still getting a lot of value right there in the EMEA region. So that's worth pointing out. But, you know, really impressed by this team. Really excited to see Alcadzia play this past week.
Did they beat Ultimates using Malga? Because I didn't watch the second day EMEA. I watched the first one. So was it Malga again? 'Cause they
Essentially,
beat TM versus
it was
with
the
Malga.
Ultimates who were like, yo, can we play Winston Ana? They went to Gibraltar, but then banned support, so the Alcadzia banned Winston. But it was essentially Alcadzia tried to force, you know, Mauga where they could, because this is what they do best. It's their best
And
composition.
ultimately it worked and they won, is what I'm saying.
They won. The Ultimates didn't really have the flexibility, and I think that was the biggest kind of question that people came away with from this week, that the Ultimates didn't have flexibility and didn't really look great when Twilight wasn't on the Ana or
Yeah.
Hisang wasn't on the
So
Winston.
we're in
Because
a
they came
Malga
out,
then.
the Ultimates looked great in their
No,
first
we're
match
not.
against
We're
JNG.
not. Are we in
We're
a
not in a
Malga
Malga
meta?
meta. This
No,
is
we're
just
not
an
in a
EU
Malga.
moment. This is just
But
an
also,
EU
I mean, no,
moment.
Malga. I think Malga is just meta, but he's not a meta. He's not the meta. But Malga
Yeah.
definitely. If you were good at Malga, you can 100% play it. I think is the takeaway.
Hisung did look good though, I'll say. Despite the loss. He
Especially on
looked
the
good.
Winston, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Or in this one
looks
too, you mean?
clean.
Do you mean in this one too? Do you think in general just Hisang impressed you?
Yeah, I think across the series, despite the result, like I still think Hisung looked good. It's definitely promising with the team, but yeah, they struggle as soon as Twilight's. Who's really fucking surprised? But as soon as Twilight's off the Ana, like it doesn't look good. Doesn't look clean. It's just not good at the Juno.
Yeah. I'll gas up Twilight's Honor. Love it. It's brilliant.
Dude, I love
Twilight's
Glazing
Honor can
Twilight.
take over the games.
Go.
Hot,
Glazing it every
OWCS
day,
hot
bro.
takes. Twilight is good at Ana. OWCS
No, I'm
hot
just-
takes.
I'm just, you know, because I don't want to come out there and just like, you know, poo-poo on Twilight or anything.
No,
but
I
you know,
am
when
head
Twilight is
glazer
not
of
on the
Twilight,
Honor,
bro.
it's
If he's not on it, it kind of sucks.
You know, it's not as good. You know, you look at some of the support players like Landon. I think played great for Alcadzia this past week. Like really impressive stuff.
Yeah.
And so. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame really for the Ultimates. I mean, I don't ever really know where they kind of like go from here, because we talk about Sky Twilight as the flex backline for this team.
Well,
last
okay,
week
I
as
will
well.
say where they go from here. Isn't this one match?
Yeah, well, I guess it's just. Of course, I mean everything is going to be 1 or 2 weeks. This is the overreaction. This is the overreaction episode I've asked. Everything we
Okay.
say is going to be based on 1 or 2 matches this week. This is the overreaction episode. Just wait till we talk about SSG, bro. They're last place in NA right now. dude, we're gonna be overreact so hard. Old Ocean popping off. Like this is.
I
the
mean, to be
overreaction
fair,
episode.
I think I'm just simply saying that like I don't necessarily. I'm perfectly fine with overreaction. I just think like the where do they go from now? I'm like, brother, but I think we should criticize while saying statements that don't sound insane. You know, we should be like, why the fuck do you have like where's your main support? To be fair, not really necessary totally in this meta. To be honest, not totally necessary. No. I guess the question for really is also it's very funny they finally got a Winston. Did he sound look good on like Orisa or only the Winston?
Yeah, like he looked well. His Winston obviously the best character, but
like what did he look good on?
He looked decent on everything else. Yeah, and also he's taking the shield perk by the way. It was so fucking funny. Like popping down the Orisa shield like it's old like 2019 fucking Orisa. It is so stupid. Also, I will say ultimates as well. Like Kai and Kevster look pretty meek last stage. They look a lot better. Kai looks very good on the on the Freya. Dude, I keep forgetting Freya's fucking name. Alcatia not really wanting to play Freya much of all, which is fine, but I think they'll struggle if they don't pick it up.
Did they not play any Freya?
In this
Lapto would rather play Cass or
in day 2, did he play any Freya?
I'd have to rewatch the VOD.
Yeah,
so I
they
know
didn't
day
play
1
any
he
Freya.
played 0.
Crazy.
Day 1 he played 0.
Yeah, 0.
To the point where even Quartz went Freya in the last 2 maps.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
Lab just refused. He didn't play any.
That's actually extremely interesting.
Which is kind of nuts because how fucking... But also, referencing our podcast from the other week, like talking about Freya, about well, I was on the train of, I don't think she'll replace Sojourn because Sojourn's a little bit more consistent. I was so fucking wrong with that take. She is so fucking good. Like the Clown Fiesta fights of her, especially on, go on to any Ilios, but Lighthouse is the perfect one. It happened multiple times throughout like a few series where it's literally just Freya's getting 2 taps and then there's no fights. It's so silly. She's so good. I was so wrong about the Sojourn take.
She's also a lot better into a lot of different picks than Sojourn is. Like I think she's so much better into ball than Sojourn because of the slow perk.
So much
like
better.
Literally like her kid is like really fucking good. Her ult's hot ass, but like honestly like that's fine because
you toss it out,
like,
you hope for a pick.
Yeah,
you know?
You just build them like every 2 seconds and then you just do a Korea moment. You play like Orisa and you do like a Terra Surge Bofa combo. And then you kind of just
There were
win.
a couple of those, but not as many as Korea.
By the way, I'm calling the Bola the Bofa, so that's what I mean by that.
I like that.
The Bofa?
The Bofa.
Bofa.
Okay.
Oh, you don't know about Bofa?
Yeah, have you heard about Bofa?
We'll note that.
Have you heard about that one?
Yeah, I think, don't want to overreact, but just leaving that series, like in this matchup, like obviously we can talk about TNG and they disappointed a little bit. Krusty on the crack pipe once more here with Who Are You? Not in the lineup, and they banned Genji. So some true crack piping
that was
going on here, of course. But, the Ultimates, they look great when they play the style composition. I think there's a case to be made that Alcatia, especially because VP, they looked a bit shaky against Quick. You can say Alcatia is the best team in EMEA Ultimates. They should have lost 3-0 to Alcatia. And you could just say, okay, well, they lost to the best team in EMEA. Like, no need to overreact. What can I go from there?
If the best team in EMEA is winning by playing Sojourn Malga, are we not in Amalgamata?
I think no, it's just Seattle.
No, we're watching Europe. This is the problem. Like we're like this is different. It's like
is Europe not an Amalgamata then? Because the best team is winning on this comp and no one's losing. To them.
Why also wait? Why are we saying that? Why are we saying that? Why are we saying they're the best team? Like we've watched VP play one match
just said they were the best team.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm shouting at Johnny.
I'm pushing back on this idea. Why I don't know why they'd be the best team.
They are not the best team, bro. VP went to 5 against Quick one time, bro. One time. And
we just have to see more.
Are we overreacting or underreacting? What's happening here? What's going on?
Okay, so if you're tuning into the show, we're just here to talk about the results that happened, and then we have no opinions about them. We have absolutely no opinions about them. We can't
so is
forecast,
your opinion Al-Kidzi is the best team? Is that your opinion?
I said they were looking like the best team in the region. Yeah. And look, I'm not...
Off of that one weekend,
they beat Twisted Minds in a 5 mapper, and they looked really good against the Ultimates.
Yeah, and then VP went to 5 with Quick.
I don't know why. Are we in a fucking court right now? Like, why am I being just like why are you coming at me like this hard?
Well, we're just asking for clarification because
you
say
explain
like
your take.
You put your take out, and then you're like mad that we're cross-examining the take. Your take. You're like, oh, I can't see like they were the best team in Europe, and then it's like, whoa, why is everyone saying saying that they're not the best team in Europe. You're the one saying it, motherfucker. You are.
Okay, I just didn't realize it was going to be inspected and interrogated that hard. Maybe I threw that out a bit casually, yeah. But I did think they looked, really clean. And I think there'll be a, really tough task for most of these EMEA teams for the rest of the stage. So yeah, they're a great team.
I think if they can't play, Freya consistently, I'd be pretty shocked if they continue their trajectory in this region. Too good. I think Freya's.
So
just,
you
really
guys are just full on, just like Freya's a perma pick because there were a I didn't stream myself this past weekend, but just scouring kind of like the community. There was Freya's really good, but some players might not have looked great on the hero, and so like how much value are getting out of it, like Sojourn to be a bit consistent.
Yeah, if you're asked, then you probably shouldn't be playing Freya. But like, Freya should be a must pick right now. She's too good.
I was going to say, who plays OWCS next? It's Frosttail, so this is not going to apply to them, sadly, unfortunately for Frosttails. But when VP play them in week 3, you can see over there, this is my advice to VP. This is how you beat OWCS. You ban Sojourn, and then you just look at what lab to picks after that.
Cassidy.
Okay, but that's definitely way worse than Freya, so, problem solved. Problem solved.
I mean, also VP can just like target ban Malga for map wins. Like, they have options. Like, I think VP
has a good matchup. Yeah.
Ultimates did not ban Malga one time, by the way. I checked.
Yeah, that's
just had a look.
I think personally, if you're good at Malga, Malga can be good. They can still be good. Like, Malga can definitely still be a good pick. It's just not like a perma pick. But like, you can also just get a free map win on teams that want to play Malga by just banning a Malga for one map, and then you take them to like, and then you just like play like some more meta compositions. Like, I just don't think that I don't think Malga's nearly as good as he was, especially with like Freya being a way better at assassin. Freya, the thing that Freya does differently than like Sojourn did in particular is that Freya, because she can like essentially like lag switch through the air with her perk, that like you can just kill someone in the backline so easily now. Literally so easily. Freya's and you can do it with almost no pressure sometimes, especially if the team is not playing a counter Freya, like, or some like other comp that's like really good at like Zoneer. So I don't
these
think
Freyas in Korea just built different. Were they just
yes, they were
unreal?
doing shit that they were doing things that you couldn't believe. Like when you like
they were doing tricks on it.
I mean, no, I'm doing tricks on it. Like that, if anything, like if you were watching fucking like I don't know, even like
Aid?
even like Aid on Way, or
Aid
fucking
especially.
Stalker and Merit on Falcons, or I mean, I would even argue like the second day watching, like when you watch fucking like fucking Probe on Old Ocean, even like they were doing shit that was crazy out there on the Freya. That like I just don't know if a comp that's so like that doesn't have like essentially the lag switch hero is going to be able to contest her effectively, because she can just go over any literally any wall. Like she can be anywhere. She can literally be anywhere on the map, essentially, if you don't have like conflict contest. So
the way you speak about Freya is just like you've seen demons. Just
she's
like
King Vaughn. She's King Vaughn right now. Okay, that guy. They need to put him down. She could be anywhere.
I can tell you what it is. It's the uptime. It's the fact that Sojourn has to fire a bunch of lift clicks to charge a rail, whereas Freya doesn't. You just permanently right click, bolt.
Yeah.
There's like no downtime at all. That's the difference.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a DPS hero that has this much mobility in Overwatch, and also the ability to actually like insta-gib someone. Like Sojourn has had her moments, but she's also almost exclusively horizontal movement, not vertical. So it's fucking crazy, I think.
She also doesn't rail. It's just like it takes time to charge, there's a cooldown built in. Whereas it doesn't really feel like that exists when Freya. You're constantly shooting.
Yeah.
I mean, the only cooldown is you like hovering in the air for like half a second and then firing another fucking bolt. Like,
and plus, even if your ult is ass, like the ult, you can just pop the ult consistently and get like good AoE damage you get like players.
Yeah, you get 3 limbs and you get an extra ult charge, and you're consistently farming ult first. You're consistently tagging
I worry
backliners.
for OWCS if they're gonna be like if they're gonna be the Sim Cassidy team.
The Genji Freya comps are crazy. Like crazy good, because the Genji just follows up on any bolted target or like does damage, and the Freya just bolts somebody. It's super good.
But I will say, I think it could happen, because we have seen time and time again, because of the competitive Overwatch terrorist Sparkle on Falcons, that you can do, if you put your mind to it, you can make Brawl work. If you put your mind to it in Overwatch, at the end of the day, it's been proven time and time again. It doesn't matter how good you are, a wall of meat will run you over. 100% if you're that good. So I do think there's a chance for OWCS.
What he's trying to say is that Hanbin played Malga.
Yes, Hamid played Malga.
So once again, I'm saying, are we an amalgamator? Just questions.
But like I don't think it's just because it's Hanbin. It's just Falcons, you know? Like no one else, like people weren't like Malga was getting played. I just don't think it was that constant. So I think Kazuya could make it work, but are they as good as Falcons? Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think nothing's really changed about how to win at Overwatch. It's like Malga is going to give you consistent value, and if you're good enough to play a dive around it, then yeah, you can navigate around the Malga composition. But I think Alcazia set a pretty high bar, and so if you're gonna beat Alcazia and work your way around that Malga, yeah, you can work in a Malga ban here and there, and make your life easier on a couple maps. But if you want to win against Alcazia throughout the 5-map series, it'll be a pretty tough task, and you have to play really well. So I just think they set the bar high in week 1. So I was impressed by Alcazia.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's all I had to say on the matter. But yeah,
That's good.
it's a pretty open EMEA region, I'd say. It's like really interesting. I can't wait to see how this kind of settles, because you look at a team like the Ultimates and you come off that and you feel like a bit sour, just like, oh, they didn't really look great at all against Alcazia. But then you look at some of these teams in the region like Genji, Peps, Quick Esports. They took 2 maps out of Virtus Pro here, and like there's just a lot of interesting teams in this region. Especially with the introduction of Freya as well. It's kind of like a new variable as well. It's really fun to see kind of like what teams, I suppose.
What a question.
Yeah.
Did VP play poor, or did Quick Esports play really well?
That was kind of like how I was gonna set up this segment. Are we worried for Virtus Pro or surprised by Quick? And I gotta say, first of all, I gotta credit Quick. They're so much fun to watch. And obviously we covered the promotion relegation as well when Quick did win when they beat Frosttails in the promotion to secure their spot as well. Like I just saw it. Like I just saw like this is a good team. I'm pretty sure I said it on a few different streams or podcasts as well. Just like I just think they looked really good in general. Willis, okay, funny backstory. Willis is actually a grocery store in Sweden. So I don't know if he named himself after the supermarket or what's going on there, because Willis is Swedish, but TBD. I guess we'll find out the lore. We'll have to see.
When a British player calls himself Asda.
Side drop, great on the fray as well, and like I just think it's a really well-rounded team. Like they are, obviously like OWCS quality. So I was really happy to see them pop off and have like a good performance, because sometimes some of these teams, they get promoted to OWCS and it's so obvious that there's a skill gap, there's a tier gap, they can't really compete with the tier 1 teams. But for Quick here, I was just like really pleased to see them go head to head against Virtus Pro, and they had a chance to close it out. They were up 2-1 in the series, but then Virtus Pro, they came online and shut them down.
I was gonna say, you can't call yourself IKEA. That's too obvious. Everyone knows. But if you say Willis,
IKEA's not really a grocery store, to be fair.
But no. The point is, like, we're talking about Swedish brands. You got to go with something a little bit more subtle that only the Swedes will know, like Johnny. Like the rest of us is like, wait, what? Willis? Ever heard of that? See, Johnny, no, Johnny was clued in. He understood the reference.
This one's for the Swedes.
His real name is William, so it's probably just, I don't know, nickname for William, But when I grew up, when I was in a Swedish high school, it was very much a meme, just like, hey, do you wanna go to Willis? So I don't know. We'll have to see. Anyway, yeah, I was really impressed by Quick here. I don't know, Joss, did you watch the series as well?
Yeah, I was a little costume actually. The vibes. Connor's taking this time off, so yeah, I thought I'd jump in for EMEA.
Europe's open for the taking. Europe's open for the taking. My ass will not be there.
Yeah, I think both of them played up to VP in like a huge way. I think Dibs Genji was kind of crazy as well. Like he was just kind of schooling VP, which is not what we expected. I think it's just more of a slow start for VP. Quick playing up. Both of them caught each other. Well, Quick caught VP at a good time. VP caught Quick at a bad time, kind of thing. I don't think VP are going to go down like this again, because a 3-2, bro. And Shockwave in the interview as well was like, I mean, Smash is probably behind him, like, or behind the monitor, just like looking at him dead in the eyes when he's saying this. But he's like, look, every single map loss that we take, like, we take pretty hard, like we don't expect to ever even lose a map, even in scrims. So, yeah, this team they're not going to fall over after this 3-2 to Quick. But insane performance from Quick. It might help them out later on. You never know. Like, they keep playing up like this as well. I don't know. Maybe they beat Altmans. I don't know.
I have ironclad confidence in Virtus Pro. Like I have no doubt that they're going to continue to be absolutely dominant in EMEA here. And they tried to work in Ice Gnome as well, but
Quick
Sorry,
are
what'd
the
you
new Alcatia, bro. Maybe.
Quick are the new Alcazias.
But then what are Alcatia then?
The Alcatia are the new Quick. No. Alcatia are the new Ultimates, bro. No, they're not. They're the new VP.
I'm lost in the sauce here. I don't know what you're trying to say.
Okay, that's a lot of
But
statements.
I
A lot of
guess,
statements and a lot of sense.
if Virtus Pro maybe look a bit, shaky, a weak hero there. That still doesn't do anything for my confidence in them as a team. They tried to implement Ice Gnome on a map there as well. And so they're clearly working on things and shaping up ahead of the playoffs. Also, the format is so kind of unforgiving in OWCS because so many teams qualify for the bracket. That if you look shaky in a week or two, and we'll talk about SSG later as well, but they'll still have a really good chance to ultimately qualify. So if you take a loss to a team you maybe shouldn't, overall that's not going to hurt you as much.
At the end of the day, I think Quick are looking at this and going, okay, we can beat any team, I think, on the flip side, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you
off of VP, map, we saw last stage as well. There was at one point a 3-way tie, wasn't there? Something ridiculous like that. So this 3-2 could really help them, actually.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of. I think if you're a team in OWCS EMEA right now, you're looking at a lot of teams and just thinking if we could, there's a lot of winnable matches on the board for some of these teams. Where I think even last stage, you look at the Virtus Pro and you're well, we're not going to win that match. And there was some really tough competition in stage 1, but now it feels a bit more open. Expecting some. I mean, even last stage, to be fair, there was a lot of upsets and results all over the place. Really, a bit unpredictable. So maybe we're heading for another one of those stages.
Can we talk about Gen G? I think it's a fun,
you want to talk about
to talk about Gen G.
Talk about Gen G and who are you being on the bench for first map?
Ooh. I was here live for this game, and first of all, I thought Ultimates were so back. I was like, damn, were we so wrong about Ultimates? But no, I think it was partially Ultimates did look really good with Heesung, particularly on the dive on the Winston, which is why I'm looking at that Alcatia game. Obviously, I didn't get to see it live, but looking at okay, that's didn't get to play as much of that as I wanted to. But Gen G, Mag was on Diva basically the whole game, a little bit of Orisa. I think he played just a small, tiny smidgen of Winston, the tiniest amount ever. And I think they did win that round as well, because it was Ilios, and there was one round he did play Winston, and they did win that round. And yes, Who Are You was benched as well. So that situation did occur. And they had was it Zox? Is there the other player? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Zox. Who I'm trying to understand what the substitution is, because it's Who Are You can't play fire. It's one of his heroes as well. People think Who Are You is just a Genji one trick. But if you watch them on Way in stage 1, he played Tracer, he played Pharah, he played Echo as well. Obviously, 70% of his game time was still on Genji, clearly. But I'm saying, he still looked reasonable on the other heroes. So, unless Zox is some Pharah god, I don't think it would have been worth subbing out Who Are You to play Zox. We all thought Who Are You maybe is, not even in the local vicinity of playing on low ping. Maybe he was still stuck in Korea. But no, he played. Apparently, he's on good ping. So that happened.
So what? I'm curious. What are you after watching Who Are You? Not this weekend, but earlier as well. Where are you at with Who Are You? How do you rate Who Are You? Because I remember Who Are You got announced as a signing, and I was I'm kind of lukewarm. The Genji, hell yeah, I'm all the way in. The Tracer, cool. Pharah, okay, let's go. I get it. But that aside, I'm a little out. I'd rather have Top Dragon than Who Are You.
To be fair, those 3 heroes are
am I wilding?
the most meta flex.
A little bit. I don't think I would rather have Top Dragon. I thought if you were about to say a different name, that I would have been and again, I like Top Dragon. Aid is probably more of a hit scan.
Yeah, Aid is definitely more of a Freya at this point, hit scan.
But given Top Dragon, the problem with bringing up Top Dragon is he already was on Gen G. And it just didn't look good. I'm sure, Top Dragons.
He was off on Gen G.
I think he's landed on another team. I'm
a Top Dragon apologist. I apologize.
So I'm sure he'll get a chance to look good again. But on Gen G specifically, he didn't look good. So no, that comparison doesn't work for me. Do I think? Is it possible that Who Are You could be a little overhyped in that sense? Depending on if anyone's super hyping him up, then maybe he'd count as a little overhyped to your credit. But I still think he's more than an impressive enough place to make waves in the region. I just don't know what's going on with Gen G as a team in terms of some of the decisions they're making. I'm still a little bit confused about how the bans unfold as well, because at like certain stages, I think the production might have mixed up the bans a little bit, so it's like not entirely clear to me who banned who. But I'm pretty sure it ended up being the Ultimates banned away Genji, which makes more sense than Gen G banning that away. And Gen G also banned away the Freya because they were... wait, were they actually losing on that? I can't remember. Exodial did move away from the Freya to memory. He actually did choose to, even without the ban, he chose to move away from the Freya far before Kai ever did. And I think Kai stayed on that and only moved away because of the ban on map 3. So,
Oh, yeah,
what's
you're right.
going on with
Wikipedia
Exodial there as
says
well.
that it didn't ban the Genji, so yeah, sorry about that.
You started playing Cass, Exodial, right?
Exactly, which might be a response to the ball as we're seeing the VOD here, but I don't know if you really need to go this deep. You already have a Sombra. Do you really need to go to Cass as well when the Freya is already like so dominant? I don't know. It might be an issue here with Exodial on the Freya for them to not want to play as much Freya. This was actually the round they won as well, I believe, because Mag's on the Winston here. Yeah, they won this one because Ultimates are up 1. Genji took this to 3 rounds, and then they lost the 3rd round, going back to Diva.
So are we making excuses for Mag? Just like wasn't on the right heroes here, or like because we even got comments just like please talk about Mag. Is Mag overhyped? But I don't know.
Oh,
Is Mag overhyped? Is Mag overhyped in Big 2025? And what
He was
are we
hyping
talking
him.
about?
I think 0 people are hyping him. I think he's
I want you
actually-
to find
we
this.
literally
Find
got
that
a
comment.
comment. We
We
literally
need to
got a
find that
comment
comment.
from
I need to
Roy.
find that comment.
Can we address the tired sentiment that Mag is overhyped and just needs a good team? Thanks.
When
one's
has
hyping
Mag
him
been
up.
overhyped? When is the last
No
time
one's
Mag
hyping
has
him up.
been hyped? I want to find that question. I want to find that.
That would be
When's the last
awful.
time Mag has
Actually-
been hyped?
Actually,
Here
I'm
we
gonna be
go.
honest with you. The most relevant take that somebody could submit to OWC's hot takes is saying, "Man, I think Mag is the best tank." That would actually
would be
the most
great.
true.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
actually would be. a hot
Wait,
take.
should we submit?
Like, because also Matt, like literally there's a whole subculture online around OWCS of people just making memes to hate on Mag. Like
Wait.
literally there's a whole subculture of people making memes
I
to
think
hate
he's
on Mag.
I think he's the most accurately rated player in all OWCS.
Okay,
Every
so
other player is like up and down in their ratings. Mag is just super accurately zoned in.
Yeah,
Everyone
they're just like,
knows
yeah,
exactly
this guy
what his
plays
rating
the
is.
game. He's pretty good, but not that good. And
Everyone
sometimes
knows.
he'll have good games, and sometimes he'll have really
He's the
bad
most
games.
perfectly rated player
He's like
in the whole ecosystem.
This man has not been hyped since his time on Runaway.
2021.
Like literally
Yeah.
not since fucking
should we
Runaway.
submit the Mag hot take to the Twitter and just see how it does?
Yeah,
because
fuck
there'll be
it, why
so
not?
many uninformed people who won't know that it does. I just want to see what like the reaction is.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah,
But
do
some,
it. I think it's
hopefully someone won't spoil it and they just like But
Do it
I
from
just-
an alt
I've-
account so we can have plausible deniability and say we didn't do it.
Vast-
no, it's just like a blank Google Docs form. It's like you can't.
funny. Yeah. There's no.
Yeah,
they
so-
don't get any email addresses.
There's
or
no
anything.
evidence. There's no evidence.
I put in. Like say, I think Mag is the best tank in
No,
EMEA.
come on. No,
Best tank
that's
in
too much.
EMEA.
That's too
Best
much.
tank
That's
In
too much.
EMEA, in
In
EMEA,
EMEA, do that, yeah.
What would you write? What
No,
would you
come
write?
on. That's too much.
What would you write? What would you write?
This is obviously
What do you mean
bait.
too much?
This is bait.
Well, what would you write then? What would you write then?
90% of the tweets on there are bait. That's
Okay,
almost
yeah.
exclusively bait.
This is
But
good.
it needs to be
What,
believable.
no, wait, okay,
It
what,
needs
what,
to be
what, we say? I think, what do we
believable.
say? I think Mag is the most perfectly rated.
Yeah,
tank
Mag
in
is
EMEA.
perfectly
That's not
perfectly
a,
rated.
That's a cold take.
No.
That's an ice cold
No,
take.
because
but
people
wait for it.
fucking
Okay,
hate
wait,
Mag.
wait,
People
wait.
fucking hate Mag. You're not
Wait.
getting it.
Yeah, Mag is the most perfectly rated tank in EMEA, held back by Krusty.
Oh.
Held back
Again,
by
this is a
Krusty.
cold take.
Is it?
This is an extremely cold take.
No,
Oh, okay. All right.
I mean, I think it's like a. I think the thing is, Avril, you're thinking it's a cold take because of the. I guess to be fair, we're a competitive podcast, but like 20 to 30% of the community will find this cold, and like the rest of the OWCS community are not nearly in the weeds. You know.
If okay, add on to here. If he was in OWCS Korea, he'd look great.
Wasn't.
My
Oh, was?
God.
Was
If he was in.
If he was.
Oh.
If he was.
Oh my
If he was in
God.
OWCS, he
That
would.
is a
Is this-
crazy take.
No, no,
I
no,
mean,
no.
that's-
the-
So, and the goal here is debate. We're rage baiting. Is that the goal here?
It needs to be
no.
believable.
What it should be,
Believable
what it
bait.
should be, what it should be is like all he needs is one more new team and he'll look great.
Don't know,
It's just
because
one more
how
chance,
is
guys.
that?
One more
How
routine.
is that not?
No.
That's the same thing. That's the same thing. You're just rage baiting in a different way. It's
That's
all
the whole
rage bait
point of
all the
that
way
whole
down.
account. That's what the account is doing. It's all it does is rage bait.
Well, why can't we do this? This is good rage bait. Is this
This
not?
is good rage bait. Yeah, saying if he was in OWCS, he'd look great is insane rage bait.
And then end
Who's in
the, and then
Overwatch
end the
look great?
submission with also 5v5 and 6v6 and just end it like that.
This dude.
The minute.
There you go.
Nice.
All right.
We'll see what happens with that one. We'll see what
We'll
happens.
see if
with
it
that
does the
one.
numbers. Yeah, we'll see if it does the numbers.
We'll see what happens.
All right. Roy, hopefully we addressed your question. So there you go. With 2 flies in one, I don't know if there's a, I don't know what the phrase is.
2 birds,
I
1
forget.
stone, you mean?
Yeah, 2 birds, 1 stone. There you go.
2 flies, one fly.
One rotten
Oh, sorry,
apple.
that's the Swedish. That's the Swedish. Yeah, the Swedish
is
phrase is
that-
actually you kill 2 flies in 1 swoop or whatever with the flies. whatever.
Really?
Flies
Yeah,
well.
that's the Swedish version.
That's
Yeah.
Inside of
Okay.
Willie's, of course.
Inside of Willis.
Inside the willies. Yep.
Okay, is there anything we didn't talk about really? Again, like we can't overreact too much here.
Does anyone have
So,
questions? Does anyone have comments about
Pepsi
Twisted
Cross
Minds?
Tails.
I think we kind of covered that within Alcatia, but anything specific to Twisted Minds? I think
Oh, they played
find-
Yubi.
I think. Oh yeah,
They
they
did play
went.
Yubi.
They didn't
Yubi
play
played?
Psycho. They didn't play Psycho a single map. 5 maps, only Yubi, no Psycho.
No,
And it was- I
no
think-
psycho.
No Psycho. So either he was away or TM are specifically trying to play Symmetra only strats, which might be the case because they did play a shitload of Symmetra. So it might just be they knew that was going to be some sort of brawl matchup and they felt like having you being to play Symmetra would have been the answer. And to their credit, they did win 2 out of the 5 maps in a 5 series. So like they did win some, they lost some, they won some, right? So it wasn't all bad. Dorado, I'm not gonna lie, the ending of Dorado was pretty bad because Twisted Minds got full held, spoiler alert, which is not a good look. And of course, the funny moment at the end when Corsa left a little bit early, just a smidge.
Paused the
But,
lobby, held the lobby hostage, and when the
This is the
overtime
this
tick
is
was
the
running.
third series that they played against each other in like a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And prior to this, they just played each other in the grand final of the Saudi E League, and that was a map 7, which Twisted Minds lost Alcatia. So that's 2 series in a row now where they went the distance and barely lost.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're very evenly matched. They decided to go with the brawl mirror here. I expect to see Psycho being played a lot more. The rage quit was really funny, by the way, and people overreacted to that quite a bit. I don't know if that was necessarily warranted.
Talking about it, I was like, I'm pretty sure, you know, in ranked, if you go to quit when you know the game's over, but it has the red box or whatever,
Yeah,
and it says you can't quit or like you'll get a penalty, I'm pretty sure he was just doing that. And it was like he was hot, he was ready to, he knew the game was over, it was about to take to 0 or whatever. He knew it was over. So as soon
also-
as it was like almost at 0, he hit quit because he thought it was done. Like I don't think it was maybe it was a little bit like rage induced, but like it wasn't
Not
a
a big
straight
deal.
up like fuck you guys. Yeah.
no, and
exactly.
also if you lose in a frustrating way in map 5, like you when you hit the quit button, like it's not like you're thinking like, oh, the game is gonna pause and it's gonna fuck up the broadcast in the lobby. Like there's no way that's on its mind. you know?
yeah.
So
Like he knew the game
it
was
just-
over. Like literally everyone died. His whole
everyone,
team got
the game
wiped.
was over. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the time
so-
it went to 0, so he just ulted forward. That's all it was.
And
So
then
it's not a-
and then it auto paused because someone DC'd and it was like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
It was
So-
kind of funny.
It was probably just unintentional. But some people were like, oh, that's so disrespectful or whatever. It's like, what are we talking
Yeah,
about?
I mean,
no, it's fine.
you probably shouldn't leave that quickly, you know, like say GG's or whatever. But like, yeah, it's not.
Yeah,
that deep.
it was a great
That's
series.
fine.
Guy was heated. I was like, it was a great
It's-
series.
Yeah, exactly. It's like not that deep.
Yeah, it's not that deep, bro. But yeah, I think both of these teams are really good. I've been hyping up Twisted Minds as well. So we'll see if Psycho gets some more playtime here, or if they're just gonna play Symmetra all the time. We'll have to see what that is about. But
That just still looks really clean. Like super good. He's like,
Yeah. Also,
okay.
I love that we have to say that because I agree. But we're also still in a little bit of disbelief that Labda is this good at Sojourn. We still kind of like can't believe it. So we're still like we have to.
Yeah, I think it's part. For me personally, I think it's past the disbelief now. It's like, no, the guy's actually kind of freaky on it. Like, he's good. He's just a good player,
I
and
was
gonna say-
he matches quartz a lot of the time now as well, which is kind of awesome.
to Jaws' dismay, TVNT didn't get any playtime.
TVNT didn't get any playtime.
To your dismay.
Yeah, I fucked up my roster.
I mean, to be honest, like I guess
You had
what is
TVNT on your fantasy roster.
what does TVNT
Yes.
play again? I'm trying
Played
to
a little
remember.
bit in Saudi E-League, and I was like, okay, that makes sense. Okay, maybe they'll like something like that.
What does he play again? Like over KSA?
Same
like
heroes
and
as
stuff.
KSA. The,
This guy plays
literally
the same
heroes.
fucking hero.
Literally the same.
Well, yeah, I fucked my roster really hard.
Oh, that's really. What is up
I
with EMEA and signing players that all play the same fucking roles? Why are they doing this? What's happening in EMEA? What is there like a carbon monoxide leak in the GMs for EMEA rosters? Why are they all doing this? They've signed they have Sky, Twilight, they have TVNT, fucking KSA. Like, there has to be more, right? I think there are more. Like, I feel like EMEA has some sort of fucking epidemic of hiring
Is it
people that all play the same
Alcatraz,
shit.
Kellex, and Haku?
Yeah, well, what
Alex
the
and
fuck?
Haku.
I mean, like, what is going on over there? What's happening?
But
What's
to be
going
fair,
on?
replacing Haku is probably a good move. I agree with that one.
Yeah, but they have both still. you know.
Sure, but they're still there. Like, why? I feel like EMEA has this like, because I can't think. There's not that many. I don't think there's very many rosters in North America that have that issue, if at all. And Korea, I think there's maybe like what, one or two, maybe
Actually,
at max.
is that a Saudi E-League requirement, by the way, that maybe they need to play with Haku?
Oh,
I'm not really clued
maybe
in
it
on
could be a
Saudi.
Saudi. It could be a
X amount of
Saudi
Saudi
E-League thing.
players.
Yeah, I'm
But
not
also
clued
there's
in
a-
on that, to be honest.
There's a minimum number of Saudi players you need to have, but I don't. They just need to be on your roster. I don't think you need to like play them.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
not
but that would
clued in on
explain.
Saudi,
Then,
that-
well,
In
but then that
E-League,
would
they have to be
explain.
played, but
Well, that would explain then why we have players that all play the same fucking shit. I guess.
but
it doesn't explain
LPC have like
Ultimate,
4
but-
Saudi members already, unless the requirement I believe is 3, right? Is it 3?
They have to play in the match.
But it should have nothing to do with OWCS though. So
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, well, you know,
No.
have them on the roster. Why not?
Yeah, but also I don't think like but Katsia's is like not even really egregious. I'm talking about like teams like Twisted Minds. Why do you have 2 players that play the literally exact same role? That like it's just odd to me. Like especially it just seems quite odd. Like I don't know. Same thing with Ultimates. Ultimates like they sign players that aren't even Saudi that play the same.
Yeah,
fucking
so
role.
yeah. No, I was right. Saudi E-League, yeah, they played Haku, Alcatraz played Haku, and then Twisted Minds
Okay.
they played TVNT.
So it's just Saudi E-League that is doing this. I see. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. I'm like, this feels like it was an epidemic, but now I get it. It's for a reason, because otherwise,
I
like,
mean, no, it doesn't make sense because KSA is also Saudi. Both TVNT and KSA are both Saudi, and they play the same role and the
Oh.
same heroes.
I
no,
don't
you're
know,
right. Twisted
Saudi.
Mind. No, you're right. Twisted Minds might actually have a carbon monoxide leak in their GM office. You're right. I don't know what.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Oh
yeah,
my
this doesn't
God.
make any goddamn sense, like whatsoever.
Okay.
So, because they're playing they're playing Quartz and shit. Like this. Yeah, it doesn't. No. Yeah.
What
whatever.
losing to NA does to an MFO. To be fair, they didn't play against NA. But anyway, I'm appealing to Avast, hating E EMEA.
I mean, specifically at this case, I think I'm willing to walk back the point. Specifically, look at. No, actually, I'm not because like Ultimates and Twisted Minds. I'm still like, what the fuck are you guys doing? So I still want to know. I wanna know.
All right.
Can you?
Should we
show me?
but we can't overreact to EMEA so much, but there you go. That's the week 1 recap right there. We covered some of the matches and the results, but we're looking forward to week 2. And we can make some more accurate assessments of the teams and
Don't PMO.
what they have.
Don't
in- what they
PMO.
have.
Okay, you're pissing me off right now, Johnny. You're pissing me off.
Okay.
Dude, he's abbreviating everything. What's he saying?
Did SSG piss you off in NA?
Yeah, because I had Seeker on my fantasy roster.
Me too.
Yeah,
I had
so
Seeker
did I.
Kellen. I had Seeker Kellen. I think one of the most picked duos on Overwatch Fantasy was Kellen Seeker. Yeah, it was not a lot of points to be found. Not a lot
Yeah,
of
it
points
was
to be
bad.
found.
It's pretty bad.
Are we officially swapping to North America?
We're officially pivoting to SSG and
SSG specifically?
North America.
Okay, well,
Let's talk
I'm just
about
gonna
it.
say it. I'll say it. 2 out of 3 permanent members on the Uncoachable podcast, continue to lose with stacked rosters. What's going on with that? I'll be the first one to say. I'll be the first one to say it, huh? What's going on? I'll meet you guys in the streets. Christopher, Hunter, let's go. Podcast v podcast. We're gonna do this Anchorman style. All the anchors fight in the alley. Let's go.
Here we go.
Let's bring it together. This is the official.
Bringing
is
chess boxing
the
to
content
Overwatch. There we go.
wars?
The content wars begin now. The content wars begin now. Okay.
Bro,
They
what
begin
is
right now.
happening with this team?
But yeah, this
What is
team, it
happening?
doesn't.
Okay, so I'll say this.
Seeker looked bad on Freya. I'm gonna say first of all that Seeker looked really bad on Freya. I'm gonna say that first. That's my first statement.
I think losing to Team Liquid is like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
But
that's
losing
honestly.
to New Nightmare is a little wild. I didn't
Yes.
see the Nightmare game. I just saw the result. and I couldn't quite comprehend it.
Bro,
I don't really understand
look,
it.
if there's one map that you need to watch, Suravasa. The reverse sweep on Suravasa.
Yeah, the reverse. We were watching it. I
was
watched it. That shit was crazy.
Crazy.
Like literally,
it was one
like
of the
it was like
craziest reverse sweeps on a map I think we've ever seen. Like ridiculous. They were
Real quick.
They. Do you want me? Go on.
It hurt.
Left is on my fantasy roster. Continue.
Okay, good for you. Good for you. Good for you.
That's good for you. Actually, it's on mine too. So that's
I mean, I
actually good
had
for me in a
Rocket
way.
on my fantasy roster, so I did balance
That's pretty
out
good
to a
for you as
degree.
well.
I
but,
had Kellen, Seeker, Rocket, Lukemino, and I got like 10 points for the entire series.
the actual cancel out roster.
They just cancel out each other, and I got 10 points for the entire series. 4 players.
W.
It was
So,
like
like,
just
that's fucked. That's
so
fucked.
short-sighted of me. It was because
this
I
map,
didn't realize
Apple-
how punishing it was. Like it was going to be for the deaths. But I mean, this map particularly, just to put it in like Overwatch fantasy terms, which we love Overwatch fantasy, but Nightmare won this map, but most of their players got negative points.
Yes.
Which that doesn't make sense at all. Like all of them got like -5
Dude,
and
the
stuff like
stat
that.
screen at the end was crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Like they were Space Station, Kellen and Sugar Free had 0 deaths when they had 2 points. They had 2 points on the board, and then as soon as Nightmare and Painkiller swaps to Malga, they hard lose.
Yeah.
They hard lose.
But also, I
Like,
still think Painkiller didn't he not play any Ram in Suravasa too? I thought he played Ram in Suravasa and it was not bad, or was it mostly? I know he played Malga obviously towards the end. Did he play Malga the rest of the time? I'm trying to remember.
for the rest of Suravasa, yeah.
For the rest of
and
Suravasa,
then
he
I think
played
at the
Malga?
very
Okay,
end
yeah.
he was like swapping around.
I thought he had like I
touching
might have
and
played
stuff
some.
like that.
I thought he might have.
Like,
But
didn't
either
Infected
way.
also play a bunch of Malga and they beat Space Station?
He played a Reese at the
Uh,
start. On
No,
Survivor.
they played
yes.
Orisa, and
Yes.
they also played some Malga. I
Yeah,
believe.
This was
Painkiller
like a
played a Reese at the start.
generational fumble. on
But
this
also
on
Painkiller
this
played.
map.
But also Painkiller played a lot of Ram. He played a lot of
Right.
Ram too in the series. So
Yes, at the
like,
start of this map, he was playing Ram. They were getting fucked.
but he
up,
also on other
right?
maps too. Like I mean,
he
overall,
was
like this is just
playing-
like
yeah,
Space
Circles.
Station. Just they didn't. The problem with Space Station is they just weren't converting on points like ever. Like
Okay.
their ults weren't good. Like there was a lot of they just looked. And also I don't know. I just don't think Seeker's Freya impact is like extremely high for this team right now. It doesn't feel like he's getting the value he needs to on the Freya. So
So listen to this. Nightmare make a comeback to Suravasa using Malga. I just checked the VOD. Infected on the last 2 maps.
Gonna do it.
Infected on the last 2 maps against Space Station also play Malga. Avast specifically, no one else answers this. Avast specifically, are we in a Malga meta?
Is this what you've been talking about all weekend?
Not really. We didn't talk about specifically Malga, but like it's definitely been bubbling underneath the surface, like the fucking Omnic Rebellion. But it's
If I was a
it's
coach,
bubbling.
if I was a coach in current day, I'd just be like, just go like a brawl tank and Juno break, and we'll figure out the rest afterwards. Just
I do
do
remember
that.
saying during my coach streams though, I was like, we do need to actually hire an assassin to kill Malga. I did say that during the coach streams. Like,
Like,
we do need a clean shot.
I'm just
We need
saying-
his
yeah,
head
but
taken clean
Nightmare
off.
still play like
Guys.
Orisa, Juno break, and I'm like, fuck.
one
like,
or 2 coincidences, but like this is like 4 coincidences now. This is like 4 times. What's that? I mean, at some point we got to say, you know what? There's a lot of Malga being played.
Avril,
To
you
be
are
fair, but
PMOing me
also,
right
but
now.
also, here's the thing: Malga can be beaten. It was beaten. It was beaten in Korea. It was beaten in North America even at times. I mean, it seems like it was beaten. In,
Didn't Falcons win their whole weekend? Wait, what are you talking about?
I think their maps they lost on Malga though. They definitely lost maps playing Malga though. Like it's not like an unbeatable strategy. I just think that like teams are struggling. Like Space Station should not be losing to this roster because of Malga. They shouldn't be losing to Nightmare because of Malga. Not that the Nightmare Rush was bad. I mean, it has a lot of timeless players. Like they were, a lot of like good players on this team. It's just, I mean, like their dives were bad. Their dives are really bad. Like you can like their dives on Suravasa, like once we got off the first 2 points, were just like tragedy. Now it's obviously hard because it's like you're playing to this like Malga brawl comp, but like these were not good dives. They were not good. And they
Also,
were not
like, it
getting the
doesn't-
value they wanted.
it doesn't behoove Space Station to play Malga either. Like they have a perfect roster
They have
to like
Kellen.
be really good
Yeah.
at dive. Like they, if you made a dive team, like these guys are
They
all
only
individually
play dive,
fantastic
right?
at it. And
They didn't play
Uh,
anything but dive. Am I correct? Space
I think
Station.
Kellen played a little bit of Orisa, but like that's the thing. I don't think this team they want to
they
play
swap
dive.
late on Survivor or something. They're just like
I think this team wants to play dive. Like it's clear that they want to play
Yeah.
dive with Kellen.
They have
like,
a
wanna
they
They
have
want
a
to play
great
ball.
dive
They
roster,
want to
yeah.
play Winston. That is what their team identity
Yeah,
is.
they don't want to play brawl. Like they don't like.
Oh.
I definitely think it's like a flexibility thing, a bit of like they don't want to necessarily like.
Oh,
but I think they could play Orisa though if they wanted.
Also,
to.
another big point about this one is that Space Station let Nightmare ban first. That's like one of the first times it's ever
Like,
happened.
can you
they
do
were
that?
like,
Are you allowed
Yes,
to let
you
the
can.
other team
You
ban?
can.
you choose who bans
map was that?
first.
What map was that?
So
I think it might have been. Was it this map?
it was this map.
Yeah,
It was this map, and
Yeah.
Space Station were like, okay, bro, that's fine. You guys ban first, and because they took us to Surabasa, and then they let Nightmare ban first, and then Nightmare, and in the interview afterwards, they were saying like, oh, I asked them like, hey, was that weird? Like, did you expect that? And they said, we didn't expect it, but we were thinking they might want us to ban Winston just to kind of get out of the way, like bait ban Winston. So we just did. And then it just kind of worked after we played Malga. Like, that was the strangest, like, oh, Space Station want Nightmare to ban Winston so they can play Winston later on in the series because that's obviously their preferred
And
kind
it's
of
also
play
weird
style right
because
now.
Nightmare were
And they
playing
lose.
like Nightmare played this whole series like for the most part they were playing with Painkiller playing off tanks. Like he was playing off tank. Like Painkiller was playing like Ramatra, Malga, Orisa, etc. Like so I don't know. I just it was all the cards were there and it just happened. Like it seems like teams are just afraid to just like that's the thing here. Like if you just ban the Malga, like sure you can't do it later in the series, but like you just get it. You get Malga off of one map, off a good Malga map, and then you can just like potentially force like on maps that aren't as good at Malga, and I think it's fine. But like, I don't know. I look at Space Station, I'm just like, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Their impact was good. I don't think Kellen's Orisa gameplay was like solid, either. So this was just
The manual hacks,
problem.
by the way, from Chrono was so funny.
There's
Like
there's
hacking his
probably
Malga
a
to him.
perfectly well thought out thesis. So I don't feel
was just
too
interesting.
strongly
It's
like yeah, interesting. Would love to hear an answer, but
The
not
ending
like
to this
a-
was good too, actually. It was a Lucamino sugar-free 1v1 on the Kyrian Tracer.
yeah, it
to
was
be
pretty
fair,
fun
to
to
be
know,
fair,
yeah.
Sugar Free was also like 20 HP. It had no blinks because he just killed someone else
Yeah.
right before.
Well, they were
that,
both
so-
20 HP. Yeah,
They were both.
Yeah,
I think a
but-
melee
below.
would have killed
Yeah.
either of them. Yeah,
Yes, it
Yeah.
was. It
Like,
was a
they're
really
both-
like epic ending to this map, actually.
yeah. Sugar Free was so good this series though. Sugar Free was still just.
I mean, they needed.
He's
They,
amazing.
they
The
needed
he's
someone
been the
to
most
do it.
consistent player on Space Station since he joined.
but
Rocket.
it was like ridiculous. Yeah, it was just stupid how good Sugar Free was. Yeah. So, look, they had a shaky start. If we're not gonna overreact to EMEA, I'm not gonna overreact to NA either. So, yeah, they're down 0-2, but you know, losing to Nightmare not great, but it's fine. It's fine. It's gonna be fine.
Here it is. Look.
They lost to
1v1,
Liquid.
hits
It's a
Recall, got
forgiving
Pulse, gets the
format.
stick.
There you go.
Yeah, he's out of blinks
He's like-
and he's like 20
He's
HP.
trying to
yeah.
Okay,
melee,
so-
bro.
So in 2 weeks they played GK, which is the old Nightmare roster for those that don't remember.
Yes.
Minus 0.
At that point, if they lose to GK, is that the right time to panic about SSG? Surely.
Yes, 100%.
I
yes.
think
If
you
they
can
lose
overreact in week 2.
So if
If
they're
they
1-3 and they beat
lose
Dilducks but lose to in GK,
unconvincingly. If they don't look
What if
good
they
in that
lost to
series
Dildo?
and they just kind of flop, then yeah, I would say overreact for sure.
I personally think like week 2 is when you can start overreacting depending on like what matches are being played. My personal opinion.
I mean they're gonna
For
beat
every region.
Dilducks. Sorry, Dilducks, you have the most aura in the stage, but sorry.
Okay. I want to. Can I just derail again? The hot takes account have been posting mag takes like just now, like live update right now. Solomon bringing up the
Dude, you guys were getting. Wait, are you saying like he posted the take that we submitted?
just look at the
Oh.
Twitter. Look at the Twitter.
It's just
Solomon.
mag.
It's just about mag.
There's 3 mag takes on there. Oh
Wait, that's
my
actually
God.
crazy. You know what it was? I bet it's because we were talking about it and a bunch of people from this fucking
Yeah.
a bunch of people just went
Wait,
to
the
submit
top
them.
one is put really good. People hate on mag so much that he somehow has actually become the most underrated tank again. Great.
Wow,
That is
weird
great
No,
bait. Whoever
it's
submitted
not. It's
Great.
not.
Kinda base,
It's
kinda
not.
base.
Are you saying it's good bait? Okay, if it's good bait, sure.
It's good
Yes,
bait.
That is good bait. Yeah.
There's
Fine.
a really well put tweet. If that was just put there in isolation and we wouldn't have gone on this podcast and memed and everything.
Okay, who is the Plat Chat
Throwback.
viewer that just submitted mag best EMEA tank? We should beat you with hammers. We should beat you with hammers
We
because you
will
didn't
be
even put
beating
any
you to
effort.
death.
You didn't even.
Avast-
You literally didn't even do any effort into this.
Avast does have to be a little bit careful because you know he kind of comes off like a fish that's been caught before that's been thrown back in the water and now everything looks like bait, you know? So you got to be a little careful there too.
Oh my God.
That's a good analogy.
I'm just. You didn't even put like there wasn't even effort put into the take. It was literally just mag best EMEA take unga bunga. Like there wasn't even like effort or artistry put into that.
Oh,
damn it.
I'm gonna
That
submit,
is-
I'm
that
gonna
is
submit
artistry.
one. Log off.
Oh, come on.
They got us.
It is artistry. It is artistry. If you're gonna have a great hot take out there, it is
The
artistry.
art of the bait.
It needs to invoke emotion. It needs, like, you essentially need people to not actually recognize that it is bait. They need to like emotionally engage with it without recognizing that it is bait. And so, there's artistry. It's, I don't know. So great tweet. Whoever put that other tweet out, great tweet. I respect it. Great job. All right. Did you guys say enough about SSG? We can move to Team Liquid because they played each other. Tree, absolutely amazing Freya player. That, by the way, I was on TikTok this morning because I was doing some market research. That clip of Tree hitting the bola from OWCS account popped off, Jaws. I'm just telling you, by the way. So you're all over it.
Real quick. Let's have a look.
It's a nice shot. It's a really nice shot.
It's a great mid-air ultimate.
Show the Bofa.
Onto Seeker as well.
Bofa?
Onto... But yeah, that was an amazing Freya highlight. So...
As we prep that,
we could say that Tree might be the best Freya player in EMEA. What do you say?
Tree?
Is that overreacting after week one?
Dude, he was gonna be good at the hero. It was only a matter of time before he was like a beast. I don't think that's too much of an overreaction.
No, AVRL, I'm not bringing Korea into that conversation.
Yeah, obviously we're not talking about Korea.
Yeah, I'm thinking about who else played that I can comment on, but I think
I'd say Tree's the best.
I just brought up NA.
For now, obviously.
That was a safe one.
Which one was this one? Oh, that one was so sick, bro.
Oh yeah,
so good.
Pop off on the
time.
It did
shot
14k tweets, bro.
Yeah, 14.2 likes.
Please remove Freya on. How do you double shot like that?
Yeah.
Hasn't played Freya yet.
How do you double shot like that?
If you dash, you get your bolt back. W man's response.
Oh hell no! My goat Seeker getting owned by that. That is very funny. Yeah, this clip was fucking sick, man. He's so good, so good. Oh, and he bags him too. Yeah, love that.
How good was Shockwave? Because I didn't see VP. Does he have the nationality buff? The nationality synergy with the hero?
He's good at Freya. He is really good at Freya. Not as good as Tree right now.
Because Quartz only played like 2 seconds of it. Lab didn't play at all. Kai did play it, but if you I don't know, if you say anything positive about Kai, people might hang you for it. That would be a great submission. Kai is probably a little overhated.
Which is farming hot take submissions.
So that's what we've done for this podcast for years. Okay, we didn't go to 266 without hot takes. So
I think Tree probably is, just given the fact that I didn't see Shockwave and most of the EMEA guys didn't really play too much of it. Exodial hopped off the hero after a little bit. Again, Claws barely played it. Lab didn't play at all. Kai, I probably didn't impress me as much as Tree did. So yeah.
I tell you what, did you miss actually about Overwatch League is how readily available the stats and stuff were for like playtime, elims, kills, and everything. Like the stat stocks we used to get, and like the internal tools as well were fucking sick. So we could see like KDs and damage.
There's some decent websites being put into work. People are making community websites using Faceit stats.
If there was a way dude, this would be fucking next level. If there was a way to pass data from just a replay code, that would be so fucking goated. So goated.
They're not allowed for that.
Just from replay code, because you actually need to like invoke it in the fucking client first and then grab stats. But yeah, that would be sick if that was possible.
Yeah.
Lizard, API.
I have some analysis about Team Liquid I'd like to share. This is my moment. I noticed that this team is not very good on the dive. Team Liquid is like the opposite of Space Station. Space Station just want to play the dive. Team Liquid, you would think should be good on the dive. They have all the right players for it. Zero is an absolute beast on Tracer and Genji. Infected in his past life. Amazing ball player, amazing Winston player. For some reason, can't do it right now. I don't know if it's a team thing. I don't know if it's Infected himself, his own personal confidence on certain heroes. But they look so much better on the brawl than the dive. And when they played the dive, especially in the Mirror versus Space Station, it kind of got ugly. In the Ilios, they lost to Ilios. When Infected went Winston, they played like an exact mirror dive. Tracer, Freya, Winston, Brigana. And Liquid got rolled. Space Station were far better in that mirror. It wasn't until Liquid started I'm going to say the M word, cover your ears of us. They went to the Malga, they went to the different Brawl heroes to play some Ram. That's when they won. That they started bringing it around, playing Brawl into Space Station's dive. And I don't know why Liquid they can't win on dive. They're not a good dive team anymore. It's very strange. And that's extremely important because we also had Hollywood in there, which I think is mostly a dive map on especially on the second point. But they kind of just forced their way through that one. Got to see make the Malga better. And then yeah, grind through that map in the series.
I wonder if they're so used. I wonder if there's something about Sojourn being out of the meta that's making some of these traditionally, like some of these teams that were good at dive previously not good at it. Maybe because like the ebb and flow of the fight isn't the same. Like you're not waiting for an overclock. Like you're not worried about charging a rail and like committing to the off. Like I don't know. Maybe there's something about that. Like maybe teams aren't used to like the cooldowns of the Freya potentially. I'm not totally certain, but it doesn't make a lot of sense because Team Liquid should be good at dive. So I don't know what's happened there. I honestly can't even say like why the fuck they didn't look like why they aren't playing well. They just didn't like the dives weren't clean. They literally just weren't hitting clean dives. Like in their back lane, like they were just trading people like really ineffectively. So I don't know what happened. Something has happened. Something has occurred. Maybe the Malga brain virus has begun to spread like The Last of Us, and it's in the fucking flower and stuff.
I mean, I think they'll figure it out because look, I think Ilios might be one of SG's best maps as well. They have a dive-friendly team. They love playing dive, and Ilios is very dive-friendly, of course. But, even last year in NA, like when Cazorus was coaching, Toronto Defiant, like they were fantastic on those maps too. Like great positioning, and, RuPaul was on that roster as well, and Cazorus was already coaching. So I kind of think they'll figure it out over time. Like they have enough experience playing these kind of compositions and being really good at it. So they know what goes into it and just have to, coach and be better at it. So I think they'll figure it out. Like if you lose to Space Station on Ilios, like to me that's not a big deal. And then maybe they recognize elsewhere that like, hey, it doesn't favor us to take the dive matchup on some maps, so we're just gonna force Brawl because it's Infected had a lot of success playing those comps for Nightmare last year as well. So it's
it was like his
Brawl
tanks are just
it's a good game plan, I think.
And Brawl
I'm just
been
confused.
more meta for a long period of time,
I'm confused about what meta run because Korea is predominantly outside of Falcons. Predominantly
You are
playing...
just so into finding out the meta. Yeah.
What?
I
think it's an important question.
It's a valid question. It's just the thing is that I don't even want to know the answer.
I thought the answer was dive because Korea was hard dive pilled outside of Falcons.
They were.
Then,
that's the thing.
And a lot of NA and EMEA is also playing dive, except it seems like the Brawl teams in NA EMEA are winning a lot more currently. Whereas in Korea, that's not the case, unless your name is Falcons.
Yeah, I mean, I wish it wasn't true, but I don't know what else you want me to say.
So it seems like we're actually in a dive meta. It seems like SSG have made the correct meta read, but for some reason, they can't execute that to beat the Brawl.
Right.
This is what's going to happen as well when you introduce a new hero, like a Freya. Like this always happens, like, big upsets, overreactions. The meta is like all over the place. People are like, oh, Freya's, most amazing hero, you gotta play Freya, and then some team inevitably like they play something else and they figure out how to beat it. So it's just it's a little bit in flux still. Like just remember stage 1 meta, like it was all over the place, like week to week. We never had a meta like really set in stone. So I wouldn't be surprised if like today or tomorrow, like the teams are in the scrims and someone's just like aha, and they start picking up something else, and the meta shifts for the weekend. So but to see, it's an interesting clue, AVRL. I suppose you're doing some detective work right now. And we'll see if any of that information feeds into what teams decide to do for week 2. But yeah, I mean, if teams were good in stage 1 playing, Mauga or Brawl, then like why wouldn't you try to replicate it in stage 2 after all? So we'll see. Team Liquid looking good though. I'm glad Team Liquid are looking good as well. We had everyone had some questions about Zero being integrated into the lineup as well, because Knife obviously was on the team as well. But Zero looked great. The Tracer picked up where he left off. And, I don't know if you guys are Team Liquid stans by any means, but like it was, a bit shame. Partner team missed out on Champions Clash as well. Didn't deserve to be there, of course, because they beefed that Havana so horribly and stuff like that, right? But it seems like they've used their time off to practice and are looking good. So
I think if they don't make it this time, like it's like done, like
that would be
no
so bad.
Excuses, like there's literally no excuses to be made. I think in general, in my opinion, like I think if you're a partner team in North America, if you're not making all the events, it's like Like that's
should.
your.
But I also put
mean,
this in a
it's
tweet.
fucked.
Like, if you do well for the mid-season championship with prize pools in mind, like, it just pales in comparison to Champions Clash, which is like the reality of things. Like, the mid-season championship matters way more than Champions Clash because it's like what multiples of the prize pool or whatever.
How many NA teams make it? 3, right? And we don't know how the last chance qualifier works. So 3 teams from NA, you'd have to be really unlucky to miss out in the top 3, considering Liquid are like supposed to be a shoe-in. Because to lose out, you'd have to lose out to who? Nightmare, the new Nightmare? Which would be really funny if once again Nightmare, the new Nightmare, squeeze in over Liquid. Happens
Dude,
twice
if
in
they
a row.
squeeze in over like Liquid or dude, what if
Like,
Space
or
Station
SSG
end up
even,
flopping
because-
flopping a little bit? Like, yeah, what if they make it over them? That'd be crazy.
Don't worry, Unter will be there with 99 or with the Oceanic team, so he'll make it.
Yeah.
But
That's true.
Liquid now, if you look at Liquid's future matches this stage, would you say that they've kind of overcome their biggest hurdle and now it looks like a much more of a smooth ride out because SSG on paper are kind of the biggest competition for them, at least on paper.
DK is
And now
the
you
other,
got,
like,
you got GK and Nightmare down
I mean,
the line, but
GK and Nightmare. I mean, honestly, Nightmare put up a good performance versus Space Station. Like, obviously, you could argue that Space Station just weren't playing particularly well, and their star DPS players like currently figuring out Freya. Like, but like, I don't know. I don't think it's a guaranteed win here. When if Nightmare
It hasn't
and
really
GK
served us
have
well
good
to
years-
guarantee things in the past. So
No,
Yeah.
I don't think this is. I mean, like Team Liquid should be one of the 3. They should, but like, they realistically, I mean, it's not. It's. I think Nightmare and GK are both in contention, especially after Nightmare like looked. I didn't know how they. I don't know about Supernova. I didn't watch Supernova, but I know that fucking False played like fucking Genji or whatever. But like
Yeah.
they were missing a player. Yeah,
I do
Ryan
think
is
that
not-
like.
is in Korea.
That's not a good like test, right? We don't know about GK still, but for Nightmare beating SSG and looking pretty good, like I don't think it's a guaranteed top 3 for Liquid.
I rated
necessarily.
Supernova really highly, but if they don't even have a second damage player available, then that kind
guys-
of messes things up. So
you guys aren't ready to talk about WUB making it to mid-season.
Yeah,
Dude, that would
WUB
be
and
the WUB
extension, yeah.
Nation. The WUB Nation
mean-
making it would be crazy.
to get back on track, like so crucially, not only does Liquid get better by picking up Zero, but they also make GK worse because like Zero was obviously such a huge
100%.
contributor to GK. So yeah, I mean, I think you could pretty confidently say that Liquid could just win out from this point. And yeah, maybe they lose. Maybe it's competitive with GK or Nightmare, but they, Space Station was the best team in the region, I'd say, going into this week. But
What
then
would
they
be more?
lost
What would
two
be
matches.
more upsetting, emotionally and also from a sports perspective? Team Liquid missing out on EWC this year, or Shock missing out last year? Avast, let's start with you.
Let me hear this again. Sorry, I was getting rage baited by something. Can you repeat that again?
Okay.
Baited by some-
Do you think we're an amalgamator?
No, man.
No. It's probably Liquid. I think Liquid missing out this year would probably be way worse.
Liquid.
'cause
If
they're
you pick up the supposed best North American flex CPS player with Zera, and you still have arguably one of the most stacked rosters, and there's only 2 white boys in the world that can play main tanks. It's like with Infected and Kuffa. Like, I don't know. I mean, like, and then you have RuPaul and fucking Vega, like obviously a very, very good backline too. Like, if you don't make it this year, I mean, like, it's like, I mean, there's fraud watches out everywhere. Fraud watches are out like everywhere currently. Like, we need to be very aware. If you were in a high income partner team area, be aware there is a fraud watcher in your area. Like, so you need to be like looking out.
I think if Liquid missed out this year, but I mean, they beat SSG, so some insane thing would have to happen in the double elim bracket as well.
Yeah.
But I think that would be a bigger upset than Shock missing out last year for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean,
they
Shock
missed out
was never
back-to-back,
even
yeah.
close. Shock was never close to the same level of strength as this. Like, Shock had good players, but they were not like, bro.
Yeah.
They had PGE on the roster. I mean,
And-
come on, like,
Okay,
Come on,
that-
whoa,
I wanted him to
whoa!
go.
Don't.
wanted
no,
him to
I mean
make it.
PGE. I mean, he's a good player, but like, let's be honest, his heart is he's the wants to order Wingstop and fucking stream, bro. Like, it's like, I think like overall, like, this is like Shock was never nearly close to the same level of contention as Liquid or Space Shooter was. It just was not close. It just wasn't close. So now you could argue maybe if like they had kept Infected or something, but I don't know.
We have a meta change potentially coming out. Wins mid-season patch? It's like in a week, right?
It's really soon, actually. It's
like
soon,
1 week?
I think.
Or
It's in
something like
a
that?
week. Yeah, something like that.
So
Not
we
this
could
week,
have a
but
meta
next week.
shakeup. We could have a meta shakeup quite soon.
I think it's fair to
Potentially.
say that Mauga is probably not getting buffed. If I have to make a prediction.
No, but like
So-
Freya though. I'm talking about Freya specifically. Is probably
See,
gonna
but the
be
thing
targeted.
is,
you worried about Freya getting
if
nerfed
you
or something?
if you change Freya, everyone just plays Sojourn, right? If you change Freya, right? That's
Yeah,
essentially what's going to happen.
I think so.
Like, barring something that's holistically nerfs across the board, like Freya nerfs mean nothing because you just go back to Sojourn. It's like, okay, all the teams that are good at Freya are probably still going to be good at Sojourn, minus maybe SSG, where maybe Secret doesn't feel comfortable on that hero yet. So, like,
yeah,
I guess maybe
some of the
Acacia.
some of the more impactful changes you could see in a patch that would chase things up would probably be like Freya nerfs, Juno or Brig nerfs that would impact like brawl compositions. Or
I would love to see Juno nerfs. I think a Juno nerf would be good. I
yeah,
would
they've
prefer
been
a Juno nerf
nerfing
over
Juno
Vegeta.
like every patch.
Yeah.
It feels like
Just
just
nerf
gradually.
Ray again, bro. Just keep doing it.
Just
Yeah.
keep nerfing Gray.
Just keep
Legitimately,
nerfing the Ray.
legitimately, yeah. Like,
But
that's
They,
probably
they also
it.
the devs seem like they're in a pretty happy state of things. Like they haven't made any like huge changes recently. It feels like, you know, like maybe like some big changes to perks. Like maybe there's a perk that comes in that's like super strong or something like that.
I
but-
think you could you could nerf Freya pretty easily by just changing her perks, and you would be able to.
Yeah,
to nerf her.
the free
the power
dash
for
on the
significantly.
updraft, you probably just change that. Yeah, and it significantly dips the power level. Not,
But I
okay,
don't
not
think-
significantly, but it does dip the power level.
I don't see any big changes that would just like shake up the meta. Maybe I'd see Brawl getting a little bit worse. I doubt there's a reality in which Brawl gets better.
They
um,
nerf Winston or Ball, then it's just gonna go to Balga.
Yeah, I suppose, but they
Round.
already nerfed Winston a little bit. I don't know if they'd nerf Winston again.
Yeah, surely not,
Um,
bro. Like,
Maybe something like
People
poke
like-
related. Sometimes they're like, you know, throwing out like random like Hanzo changes or, you know, like a Sigma change or something that could maybe
Yeah.
make those heroes better. But still, it's like very map pool dependent anyway. So like,
it is. I
we'll
wouldn't
see.
want them to nerf Winston again. I think
Wasn't
nerfing
there-
Winston would be a giant mistake.
Wasn't there some talk as well that like teams tried to learn dive this stage as well because the map pool was really friendly towards dive? Like Gibraltar is in there, so obviously like the ultimates.
Gibraltar, Dorado,
all
there's
over.
like,
Ilios.
yeah, Ilios as well.
it's a really
like,
friendly dive
there's
pool. So like
lot of good
it made
dive.
sense if a lot of teams just like approached this week and were like, we need to learn dive for this stage because it's
Yeah.
going to be hard to protect us from not having to play dive, right? So it makes sense that we're seeing some Mauga from teams and trying to force it, but also makes sense to see teams trying to force dive because of the map pool. So I'd say pretty expected overall where the meta is after week 1. All right, we talked about SSG, talked about Liquid. Nightmare, I'd say a winner, of course. You know, they beat SSG, but I think in general, this is a team that is fun to watch. I think they got, you know, great talent on their roster. We know Rocket is obviously amazing. Since the demise of Overwatch League, really, I feel like Rocket has just been a constant in North American Overwatch, and but it was timeless or whatever, just popped off. Really rate Rocket highly. Chronic had some great games this past weekend as well, and I like Lucamino and Lep, so I really rate this Nightmare roster. I think that they are like a dark horse candidate again. Like Nightmare has done it again. They picked up a competitive roster here in North America, so I'm pleased to see them still racking up some wins after they were forced to drop that previous roster.
No, it looks
Augur's got an
super
aura.
clean.
It
Aura's
does.
got
Yeah,
an
they
aura
have
to
aura,
them.
It does.
And whatever they do, they pick up a team and somehow they're always good.
Well, also I think it helps too in that I do think there's a lot like we finally reached a stage in North America at least where like this long time tier 2 talent has been cooking in the chamber long enough to where you can at least like somewhat compete at some of the upper echelons, even if you're not like really going to consistently get wins or even necessarily like make super deep runs. And I do think that that's something that Nightmare has going for them is that because they clearly like I think they've made it pretty public at this point. They're like, yeah, we've like lost so much fucking money in esports that like we have to be a little bit
Esports.
more.
Ta-da.
We have to be a little bit more lean, you know, and like,
Yeah.
And they have a much cheaper roster. They have much less expensive rosters. They've had to make a lot of decisions, I think, on an organizational side because they're like, wait a minute, like there's not free money to be made, and I do think like there is a benefit to having very lean rosters to a degree, because I also think lean rosters, there is something to be said, and I think it's also partially why for so long in Overwatch League people wanted to get fresh new Korean talent, is because like fresher talent or talent that hasn't experienced like the delights of T1 are hungrier to a degree. And I do think that's something that this Nightmare roster has going for him, is that all these players are very experienced, and I think they all really want to win. They all really want to like make a big name for themselves comparatively after being in like kind of the shadow for so long comparatively, of a lot of these players of like in the 2-1, like the Liquids, SSGs of the world, etc. So I do.
And they're easy to root for. Like Nightmare missing out on partnership, it was a huge deal. They invested a lot last year. Were really involved in the scene, put on some amazing rosters, and then they didn't get partnered. Whatever went into that. One could say that it was understandable, especially consider the size of a team like Liquid, right, or even some of the Korean organizations, right. And so, but it really sucks for the management of Nightmare to miss out on something like that, because that is essentially what you try to do, right? If you create a team in esports and you're like, hey, we kind of need to do great scouting, pick up a roster that does amazing for us, and find a way to get into like some of these partnered systems, right? Like I was actually thinking about this these past couple of days, because we were the first team when I got picked up in 2016 by Rogue. We were the first ever competitive team that Rogue had ever picked up. And so they were just like, hey, we have a logo we made in like paint and we just needed to pop off. And then, obviously we were quite successful. And then they went into league and they ended up getting like a partner slot in league and stuff like that. And then they just sold like their team to whatever other South American org that was or whatever. But that is kind of like...
Did they get a partner slot? I thought they just got into challengers.
I thought they were in EU. I mean, I'd never touched League of Legends. But essentially, they had like a huge come up from like, they found success because of scouting. They picked up promising teams, and then they catapulted into like partnership systems, and then you can use that for leverage and like really pump it up and after. So like Nightmare missing out on partner in Overwatch. Obviously
they had a really good Vainglory team. When they were in Vainglory.
Koi, I think Koi was the name of the South American. Was it? Maybe.
Oh, Koi.
Koi is Spanish.
Koi, sorry, my bad.
Bro.
I have no.
Yeah.
I never did an ounce of research.
They definitely didn't get like they didn't definitely get a part. I mean, like they definitely didn't get part of it. They were in like challenger, but yeah, they did have explosive growth for the size of them. They had a very explosive growth, and I think this was a very important lesson to learn, because like Flack, the owner, is very young, and I think he's learned something very importantly, which is like, if I want to stay in esports, I'm gonna have to spend a lot less money. And I think there was actually a lot of conversation around that recently, like, man, I miss Overwatch League roster, like salaries, like a lot of play. I think it was BinBest talking about it, where he was like, oh yeah, the Overwatch League system, like everyone got paid so much more money than the current system. It's like, yeah, man, like we had $20 million buy. Like obviously there's a lot more money. Now granted, those buy-ins weren't really paid, but like I still think that like that's something to remember here, is that like, especially if you're into esports in general, but also Overwatch as well, is like you just need to get by with less, and when it comes to salaries and stuff like that. And I think Nightmare have learned that, and hopefully they stick around for a while, because I think they have a good idea about them. And I like this roster. More importantly, I do like the roster. I like Chronic. I like Rocket as a DPS line for North America. It's the first time Rocket's been away from like Chopper, right? I think it's just been those two together for like a long ass time.
Painkiller and Sonjin was a trio for a while, actually.
Yeah, that's true. Painkiller looked really good too. I think Painkiller on the off tanks looked pretty good. So, and like, Lep and Luke Mino, I mean, they've been consistently solid for a long time. But I think to me that's the weak point for this roster, is like how well does that backline like make big plays for them, for Lep and Luke Mino right now. And like,
yeah, I mean, I really like I rate Luke Mino high when it comes to like some of the more flex support stuff, like the Ana and stuff like that, like playmaking. We've seen quite a few great Anas in the region, right? But they've been playing a lot of Brawl as well, so like a lot of Juno Brig and stuff like that. And so it's it's harder to make an impression on those heroes compared to Ultraviolet, like
a lot of this meta though is just down to the DPS though. That's the thing. Yeah, like the supports are really kind of shoved.
I rate the entire team, and I rate the backline too. So
yeah, the team is decent.
And I think even if if they swap over and play dive and stuff like that, you got Rocket playing a great tracer. You can play the Luciana. Like I think they're pretty versatile, all things considered. So yeah, I really rate this roster. I think they're the dark horse of North America. So happy to see them do well. They're 2-0 right now, 5 map differential, topping the standings because they won a doubleheader.
I mean, getting the winner out of the Space Station game is massive for them. That is such an
Yeah.
insane start.
Yeah, it is. For sure. I mean, there's so many like winnable matches for them now, like Sakura, Supernova, Deal Dogs. You know, you're in a very comfortable spot now because you got one of those. Because worst thing that could happen, right? If you're like a middle of the pack, lower end kind of team in North America, if you're not on the level of like Liquid SSG, the worst thing that can happen is like you trade wins and then you find yourself in a tiebreaker scenario going into like the last week and you're like, fuck, like this stinks. But now because you beat SSG, if you're Nightmare, you can't coast, but you've massively upped your odds that you're going to make it to the double elim bracket. And, you know, it's really beneficial to get top 4 as well, right? Because you get the upper bracket and the double elim bracket, where it's 5-6, right? They get the lower. So if you could get 2 lives in the bracket, you know, that's huge as well. So yeah, Nightmare looking prime to get top 2. And they get Supernova here in week 2 as well, which is another great win because Supernova obviously had issues with finding fielding a second damage trigger because Ryan wasn't in the country because Ryan is in Korea. Yeah. So I guess Sam is playing in week 2, but I'm not sure. I'm making assumptions there. But I think Ryan is out for a few weeks and then they'll have Sam play week 2. It's what I'm assuming, I'm guessing. Someone in the YouTube chat can correct me, like they always do, maybe. But yeah, Nightmare looking good. Nightmare looking clean. Not sure if there's anything more you guys want to take away here from North America.
No, I mean, I would say overall my point was proven where I think, barring something crazy, promotion teams in North America are unfortunately just not very good. Like they have a lot to grow, and versus like teams like Korea where there's so much talent comparatively. I'm impressed with the EMEA's promotion, honestly, but we'll see if that trend continues for like Quick and shit. But
I like Quick. I believe in them.
I mean they could be good. I think realistically North America we see our teams, right? It's gonna be geeky Esports, SSG, Team Liquid, and Nightmare fighting for top 4 slots. And that's really going to be like the year, barring Extinction popping off, which is maybe possible, but I don't know. I don't really feel.
I feel like the tiers are pretty established in North America.
Yeah,
I'll be surprised if anything major changes up over there. But then if you like time traveled like for whatever 5-6 weeks in advance, and then you told me that like Gen G got relegated from EMEA, I'd be like okay, insane, but that region is just all over the place, so who knows. All right, AVRL.
Mag would find his way onto another OWCS team, I'm sure of it.
If not, join Violet in Faceit Masters.
So true.
Oh my god, the Violet Mag super team, go hard. It would go hard.
Oh god,
I believe in it.
AVRL, Avast, do you want to take over when it comes to Korea?
I'll let Avast go start first, obviously.
Okay. I guess some questions.
It's messy.
I didn't watch all the Korea matches. Time zone is shit. It's terrible. But Falcons dropped quite a few maps. So I guess my first question as someone who didn't watch all the games. Are Falcons good? Are we fine? Are we comfortable? Are we confident in Falcons? What's going on there? They went to map 5 against T1, right? And then they dropped more maps. Are we good?
This is a team that like, with at the risk of making it sound like really dumb and obvious, they're a team that drop maps. They remind me of old Dallas Field 3-1 Salt to the Earth gameplay. They tend to, for whatever reason, drop maps to everyone, almost regardless of who they play against. Like maybe it wouldn't be the case if they play like really bottom tier, but like any middle and up team, they tend to drop maps. Also, I don't know if they're running through a bit of an experimental phase, but they are swapping through every one of their bench members to the point where, like, man, it feels bad for Majed because, like, he just never got a shot this year at all to play at all. But right now, they've gone through, for example, they have 3 DPS players, obviously, between Merit, Proper, and Stalker. And they've run through every possible combination that you can possibly run with those 3 players already. And someone in Harbin have been playing pretty equal amounts. They've been dropping in one by one. The meme right now is that when someone plays, he loses. When Harbin plays, he wins. Which for their first series versus T1 was 100% true. Someone lost 100% of the maps he played. Harbin won the 100% of the maps he played. And they I think it was like 3-2. I think Harbin played 3, someone played 2. That changed when they played against Pokerface, but even then it was a little shaky because Pokerface lost their first map because of a C9. And you could have argued that like they probably should have won that map, and if they did, someone would have not have won a map versus Pokerface either, which would have been really funny. So someone on this roster is looking a little weird right now, and I don't know what it is because when they have someone in the roster, they're playing Dive, they're playing Winston, but just like it looks like in Team Liquid, it's just off. I don't know what it is, but then they bring Helmbin in, they change up the strategy, change up the composition, play Malga, play Brawl, and it just looks right. It just looks like Hometon. It looks like exactly what they're built to play. And this team just can't do it. This team can't play like Winston Dive at the moment. Maybe because someone isn't integrated enough with the team. But the old magic they had with Smurf last year, that's currently not there with the team.
Yeah, I mean, it usually takes some time, right? So I think it's understandable. But I do feel like it'd be such, they'd shore up like such an amazing weakness when it comes to the Winston game. And look, I'm with you, AVRL, when it comes to like the Han Vincent and stuff like that. But if they could get someone firing on the Winston and then Merit as well, like I think that would just be so huge against future matchups against CR, right? Yeah. So you gotta work at it. You gotta chip away at it.
Real quick before Connor jumps in, I maybe potentially warm take. I thought Dongak looked way better than someone to glaze T1 a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. I mean, honestly, I think my distillation of anything from watching Korea is that you can definitely still play Winston, and you see like North America. I didn't watch EMEA, so I don't, like I said, I can't really pull from there. But if anything, I would willing to take Avril's take of like Malga as meta and just say I think off tank comps, Orisa, Ram, Malga, like no, Orisa obviously sometimes play main tank. Like pretty much any tank that's not dive, I found in my opinion seems really strong right now. Like a lot stronger, at least more consistent at times than Winston even. Like
you
obviously
would count
Korea's
Ball
still,
in that statement too.
I would even count Ball even though it's technically dive, but I do think it is like falling on the dive spectrum. But like I personally think that like because also like with Hazard also like I think just the more traditional dive comps of like Winston Ball, I think Hazard, Orisa, Ram, Malga, even Diva, like though I guess Diva falls in the dive comp, but I think a lot of teams have been using her kind of like Brawly because you're like using her with Juno, so you're just like speed boosting boot through and like nanoing her and like just eliminating people. But I don't know. I just feels like some like Winston and Ball and stuff like that aren't that strong comparatively to a lot of the other tanks currently. With maybe it's because of like maybe Freya gives you like more options because like Winston doesn't really. I don't think Winston really contests the Freya. Honestly, if I'm being completely real, I think all those other tanks are way better at contesting Freya than Winston.
Yeah, Winston does get kind of eaten alive.
But like, and then also like with how strong some of the tanks have been, like Winston has a lot of options. Like you have a lot of options to punish Winston, like with like Brig, Ana stuff and things like that, or even Juno Brigida. Like Winston sometimes struggles. Like I personally think that right now it feels to me that if anything, it's just Winston isn't that meta almost, and all the other tanks are almost more meta. And even Ball, because Ball gets pounded by Freya, and like even Hazard's pretty good at like. I think Hazard's a pretty decent pick into playing the ball and even like Orisa and stuff. So, but overall, yeah, someone didn't look that good. Hanbin looked fucking like the GOAT. All their picks are good. Like Merit came in and was server admin. Stalker though, when he got to play Freya, was also really fucking good. Like there is nothing bad that Falcons can do outside of maybe playing Winston. Like they pretty much have a winning combination in every play. So it's just a question of like, does someone actually work with this team or not long term? And or maybe is someone even a pick that matters because if Winston's not that good, which right now I don't even think Winston might not be that good, then you just play Hanbin anyways.
How good did Mary look on the Freya?
Really good.
Like, did it prove all the Merit doubters wrong? Because I had a couple of people come into my Twitch chat, and obviously low sample size, but they were like, I don't understand. Merit won't see playtime, and I was like adamant, just like. You're kidding yourself. Like peak Merit is goated.
He definitely. I think he definitely. I don't know what your opinion was, Avril, but in my opinion, I think he definitely proved wrong. Like you could make the argument that maybe Stalker when he played Freya looked slightly better at times, but he just got a little bit less playtime on the Freya. But Merit looked really, really good on Freya. Like he looked like one of the best Freyas in Korea. So
he didn't. Hot take. I thought he looked like the best Freya so far in
I
Korea.
said one of the best. I said one of the best though.
Oh yeah, I don't disagree with it. He's up there, but like the point I was going to lead into was I didn't think Merit looked so good that it would warrant him playing Freya permanently over someone like Stalker. Now Merit probably played the majority of the Freya, but like I said, Falcons used all three of the possible combinations of their DPS to the point where like the proper Stalker lineup probably to me is still my preferred lineup just because what they're both capable of playing. But if you are in, and I did argue this to my defense because I was one of the Merit doubters who said Merit's unlikely to get playtime. I will state for the record that let the jury hear this one, the statement stand that I did say that Merit would see playtime potentially in like a hard hit scan meta where you could justify playing him on a singular hero that he just might be better than the other two on. And I guess Freya, like, okay, technically she's a projectile, but she fits in the hit scan pool because she's played in hit scan role by all the hit scan players. So she kind of falls in that category. And so you can, and obviously everyone does, just one trick Freya all throughout every single region in this current meta. So if there was a meta where Merit could just one trick a hero, this is it. So yes, he'll get playtime based on that for sure.
All right.
Yeah.
It seems like we're still feeling pretty good about Falcons then.
Yeah, it'd be pretty shocking for them not to be like a top 2 team still throughout the year. You know,
they they're playing Zeta. It'll be an interesting matchup coming up in week 2 as well. T1, Avast.
T1 win K. T win K. As we say,
what happened against Way?
Where the one replaces the I.
With the one replacing the I, yes. With the one replacing the I.
Yep.
I mean, we don't ask a T1 fan what happened on May 11th versus Way Esports. I mean, they kind of just got they literally just got pounded. I mean, there's no other things that they got pounded. Like they looked really good versus Falcons. And then this one, I can't even point to like, I don't know if you can even point to a single. Look, Proud didn't get any kills. The Proud boys were not Proud. Like there were no limbs going the way of Proud. Dong was getting farmed. My back, the fucking goated ass. I will think Vigilante looked really good. The one also had a really bad, Skewed probably put on his worst Brig performance in the past like 3 years in this game as well. Really? Skewed was getting like,
he was the problem.
Farmed.
It was a skewed disaster class, I'm afraid. That definitely was an issue.
Zest and Vigilante look like the best players on this team in this match, essentially. Like, Zest looked good. Vigilante looked really good. Skewed was having a really hard time. Proud wasn't getting a ton of value, and Donghack was just like, he was a main tank while his team wasn't getting a limb, so essentially you're in the cuck chair. So there's nothing else that can really happen.
This is the game where it's just like, it's very unfortunate because in the T1 Falcons game, you still feel good about the entire team. You're like, yeah, this is fine. This is pretty good. This is normal. And then you get to this game and it's like, dude, Proud fell off, man. I don't like in this performance, he just wasn't it. And he did well against Merit in that game, but here it's like, oh man, maybe it was just an off day. I think what it is for T1 is they just have a very negative kind of aura matchup versus I'm using Avast language versus aura matchup.
This is what it does to you. This is what Avast does to you.
Aura is very important this year. It's very important.
I spent 1 weekend with Avast, and now I'm a changed man.
It's very important.
It do be like that.
No, that's Jaws. Actually, that's Jaws language.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, so they've always lost to Way though. If you look at the history, they just can't beat Way. I don't know what it is. Way kind of got their asses last stage. And now, even though Way, you would argue, got downgraded. Oh, by the way, Sonjin played really well. And as I said, my entire take for saying Aid looks like the best Frey is based off this match. Because Aid was fucking good. And not just because Proud wasn't playing well, but even if you just looked at Aid in a vacuum without looking at Proud, Aid was so clean, man.
He was good.
So clean.
I mean, imagine showing to anyone in like 2020, like 2 or 3, like, oh yeah, my Vigilante skewed backline was getting farmed by Aid Sunjin and Yogaru repeatedly. Like, legitimately farmed. So he looked good. He looked really good. Definitely.
Yogaru was clean as well.
Looked great. Yeah, Milgaru looked great, honestly. Like I was really impressed. Overall, the entirety of Way looked good, but like, and Lee Min when you put him on Kuriko, obviously still really good. But like, I do think the T1, this was just a disaster class from Proud and Skewed. I just think legitimately was a disaster class from those two. I do think Way played
Skewed
really
in
well.
particular. I think I'll be a little bit nicer Proud. I think like it was more definitely Skewed dying
Here
first
he goes. Here he goes.
Look at the VOD. It's Skewed getting picked first every fight before the fight starts.
That's all good. You talk your portfolio. It's all good. You got a
But
lot
if
of
Way plays like this all season, they actually might be the 3rd best team in Korea. If they play like this all season.
Which is really scary for T1 because T1 have already missed out on Hangzhou. Obviously, there's only 2 slots, so it's very competitive in Korea to make the top 2. But there's currently only 3 slots for Korea in general, of which Crazy Raccoon have already locked one up from winning Hangzhou. So there's 2 slots after Crazy Raccoon. And yeah, it looks like it's going to be a dogfight for those last 2 slots because you got Wei, Zeta, and T1 all looking competitive.
But you're also forgetting the other
Overwatch?
outside dark horse. Yeah, Old Ocean. Old Ocean.
Oh
It's
my
a little
god.
too far outside, but they're definitely
my
outside.
God.
They're all far on the outside.
They look decent, but I mean that's the next. But yeah, they look not bad. Not that bad.
Yeah. I mean, it's a bit confounding because you can make you can talk about that T1 missing out, and it'd be awful if they missed out on mid-season champion. But then you look at the roster and like the coaching staff, and you're like, they got the right people.
Yeah.
They just gotta perform.
Yeah, this roster shouldn't do badly. It shouldn't do badly. They're fighting for a number 3, even potentially a number 2 slot, depending on how they get their shit together. But like, this was not the match. This is not the match. This was them getting farmed.
Yeah, and look, maybe this happens in Overwatch all the time. It's changing up the guard.
What did happen in Old
still.
Ocean Poker Face? What happened?
All right, do you want to go there? What happened to Old Ocean? How did this beautiful roster get done?
They're Goats Ocean. They're goated Ocean.
Yeah, they're
If anything, actually, I mean,
Ocean's
after
11,
bro.
when
Ocean?
we had the overreaction of the week. Actually, I think at least I did personally with Poker Face's Tank Heiser. When Poker Face played earlier, they played versus Falcons, and I was like, wait a minute, these guys are cooking. I'm like, they're fucking like they were playing they're playing just like essentially perma Orisa with Heiser and perma Pharah with like Spint. Yeah, it was Spint. And they looked really good on a Pharah Orisa comp. And then they came into the Old Ocean match. And Jaehong, by the way, Jaehong has he played like any Ana yet?
He played, I think, one
like,
map of
once.
Ana. Oh no, one
Yeah.
round of Ana on Ilios, and the observers didn't show his POV one time.
Yeah, he played like a single round of.
tragic.
Jaehong has played almost exclusively Juno. He has not played anything else. They played
I would-
almost
I would
exclusively Juno, like Kiriko, Juno Break.
My theory is they put Unk on the easy here because, like, okay, he's washed, but you don't need a lot of skill to play Juno, so we're just gonna put him on that role because you need to actually aim on Ana, and Juno's just like you just fucking turn, you just like close your eyes and just like
So Avril's theory is that Jaehong
cooldowns.
is perma washed essentially. That is Avril's theory.
and that Juno's easy to play and that he can't fuck up on that here, and therefore he's doing okay.
I
That's
mean,
my
and
theory.
he hasn't been playing badly. Like he hasn't been dying. He hasn't really made, I would say, like any gigantic plays, but he hasn't been like dying, and he's been doing solidly. So I mean, it's just realistically, Heiser went from looking like I was like, wait a minute, this guy's next up. Like I was like, after I watched the match versus Falcons, I was like, this guy's next up, and then he fucking got literally perma-farmed by Jaehong and Co. on Old Ocean.
He didn't play any Orisa to my
Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, he also didn't. He was playing a lot of
pounded
Winston.
on Orisa.
Winston,
Pressed the fuck out of
I'm
Avast,
telling you,
and then
it's the
played zero
Winston.
Orisa in the series.
But he played Winston. He played Winston. I'm telling you, I think Winston's the common denominator. I think legitimately it's the
Everyone who
off-tank
plays
meta.
Winston loses.
I think it's the off-tank meta in general. I think you don't play Winston anymore. I think Winston right now, because of the Freya, maybe because you can't not like amazing at chasing or something because she's so mobile, and additionally like so many there's so much power people like everywhere else where Winston like struggles sometimes. I think Winston might be the common denominator of like you don't play because that was they were playing they were trying to play dive and it looked really bad into like just pure off-tank play because Old Ocean they were playing some Winston, I believe, with they were playing some with fucking Gurum, but I think Gurum was mostly playing like Hazard and Diva.
Well, he's not even a Winston player, so it's just
that's what I'm saying. I believe but he did play some, but pretty much he was playing like Hazard and Orisa and Diva and shit, and he was just shitting on them comparatively. Well, he wasn't shitting on, but like if anything, it was Spint.
Read Hong on Juno the entire series.
Yeah, the entire series. Yeah, it was like I just think Winston's the problem. Old Ocean look good though. Like legitimately, they look pretty good. I think like Spint is like fucking kind of nutty on Pharah in particular, but he's pretty good on like all of them. Probe looks like, I would honestly argue here, this is a crazy take too. I would think Probe is like up there in the Freya conversation for Korea too, Avril, based off his performances so far. I think Probe is like Proby Bryant is legitimately up there. I'm not saying he's better than Aid. He's not better than Aid. He's not better than Merit or Stalker. He's definitely not better than, but like he's actually looks really good on Freya though.
The difference is he pounded versus Pokerface, whereas A did it versus T1.
No,
I just think that
but he pounded versus Falcons. He pounded versus Falcons too. He looked
They
good
didn't-
in the Falcons
They
match.
play Falcons.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm mixing up. No, not Falcons. All right, yeah.
They play Crazy Raccoon.
I should say I think he looked good versus Crazy Raccoon, but not like they got pounded in general, so it's tough. But I don't think he looked bad.
I don't personally remember that, but I'll give you benefit out there.
I legitimately think
I
I
just
remember the whole
that-
time I was like, wow,
remember they
Pro's
got
getting a lot of
pounded
kills.
versus- Actually, no. You know what? They actually looked semi-competitive versus Crazy Raccoon, which, by the
Yeah.
way, it allows me to bring up the point that I think for our rankings last week, appealing to average level of career being exceptionally high is correct, because even Old Ocean could look at least semi-competitive versus Crazy Raccoon, whereas I don't think any NA or EMEA team outside of the top generously 3 could ever do that.
I mean, I would 100% put. I think Old Ocean and like fucking Poker Face would be like beating that. Yeah, they would definitely be like a top. Based on how they're performing right now, they'd be a top 100%, like a top like 3, like top 4-ish team in every region for sure.
Like Old Ocean
Yeah.
would be doing some real damage in any.
They looked really fucking
No,
good.
they wouldn't.
They looked really. They legitimately look pretty fucking good. Like especially if they're playing the Farah comp, they looked pretty fucking good. So like it's
He's been
I don't
converted.
know. I have been converted
he's
after watching.
He watches Korea for one
Top
weekend. He's like,
4?
actually, yeah,
Yeah.
pretty
No
good,
joke.
pretty good.
No joke. No joke.
Okay.
I think they would be like.
Solomon
fighting for a
did
top
like
4
to point
spot.
out the fact T1 or O2. Yeah.
T1, unfortunately, I think but also T1, they played fucking Falcons and went to a Map 5 Gigabanger. So I think that's a very fine loss. The way loss is unfortunately a brutal gaping that will have to be repaired in the future. That one will have to be fixed in the future. So I'm
this was
hoping
a
for the
silly
best.
list. People would have to cut us a lot of slack, but
Yeah,
you know, obviously we changed some stuff up here. So
Everyone get angry at Plat Chat for this list.
Hey, our prediction of Weibo Gaming being 3 is looking pretty good.
looking good, looking good. Weibo
good,
Gaming,
not started,
yeah, looking great, looking great. Yeah,
Yeah.
It was all right. It was all right. Anything else? Anything else in Korea?
By the way, in
Yeah?
Korea, yeah.
Who else? Let me go through the list.
Zeta
of who else
Division.
played.
Do you still feel good
Yeah,
about
we
Zeta
need
Division
to
at
talk about
5?
Zeta. So, you know what? Alfie did fine. Not like the most exciting player, but actually, you know what? He barely.
He actually
even
looked
played-
good off. Yeah, he didn't play main support.
He didn't
really.
play that much main spot. He played when he
Yeah.
did. It was mostly Brig. He played like one map of Lucio, and then he spent the rest of the time playing a lot of Kiriko, a little bit of Anna. They played a lot of double flex support, which is probably a better look for Zeta anyway, with Alpha E in there. They played like a little bit of farmer. On the first match, they played no farmer, and the second match, they played more farmer, but onside would look really tragic. So I don't know. if I'd
Onside are
read into that.
they're probably the worst team in Korea right now. So
They look worse than Old Ocean. So I would
which
put
is
Onside
crazy because
Knight,
it's funny too because they have the season 1 Dragons energy because they have auto.
That's really sad,
That's
yeah.
so
They
sad,
have like
actually.
a bunch of like old head players. Like it's like auto fucking who is it? It's auto attack Kilo. That's why I was like shocked when someone like that OWCS was like, oh yeah, like fucking Kilo
Kilo
looks
would be
really
your
good.
top
Kilo
4 or
was
something,
not
yeah.
looking good. Kilo was not looking good for onside.
He looked
gaming.
better than I thought. Like he didn't look good, but I thought he was going to be way more washed. So to his credit, he looked less washed than I thought he was going to be. Which I
What
don't
has
know if
Kilo
that's
been
like
doing? Where has Kilo been since Shock?
no one knows.
He's just been MIA.
Bro's been
He was on
not in the
offside
military.
gaming.
He's just been offside.
No, he was
gaming,
on
he?
he was on off-screen gaming. That's why we didn't see him. He was on off-screen gaming.
Off-screen gaming.
Yeah, we didn't even see him. That's why he was on the
That's
off-screen.
so funny. I like that one. That's so good.
Yeah, I mean, overall, Zeta look good. I mean, I don't think they look like bad, but I wouldn't really say when I watch this team, I don't know what your opinion is, Avril. They don't feel, it feels like this is a team that
Don't
should
feel
just play
dominant?
Bernard. Yeah, I don't feel very dominant. I don't think Alfie, if they keep, I think in general, as I evolve further, I also think when you see that Alfie like mostly played non-Lucio and like you get to like Lee Sumin and stuff for like Wei and how he's playing mostly Kiriko and shit like that. I think this is a straight up like we're done with heal sluts. We're done with heal sluts in Overwatch right now. Like we're playing characters that can aim.
No.
We're playing tanks that can aim. We're playing tanks that have impact. Like I mean not that
Future
Winston
is
has impact,
now.
to be fair. I legit like right now it just feels like this is like the much harder like aimer meta then and like we're not really having main support players. It's like mostly double flex, which to be fair is actually a boon for teams like Ultimates. And like I guess if you have 2 off tanks like fucking Twisted Minds, like then maybe that could be good too. But like I do think Zeta looks a lot better with Bernard still, and they look okay across the board. I don't think they look that good though. I wasn't really impressed with.
They didn't look exciting, right? They didn't look like a team that can really challenge Falcons and Crazy Raccoon like they used to, right? That's my feeling.
Yeah,
like
I didn't think Flores Freya is that good. I don't think Freya was that good.
No, unfortunately, Freya still looks not. Fucking Flora looks like a fraud. Too many Fs.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah,
Fraud.
He always has. He always has, in my opinion, and he still does. Is what I'm saying. He continues to look like one.
I feel like Flora has always done enough. You know, whenever someone questions Flora's spot, like Flora just gets enough of highlights to like secure for some job security.
Because like he consistently looks worse than
Didn't
the other
Flora
top
have
hit
like
scans.
that one amazing match like late
but
year?
Lip does it every game, and then
Yeah, I
Stalker and Proper will take
know.
turns playing hit scan and do it every now and then. And now Merit's there who can do it, and then you got Proud as well, who outside of playing against Wade can do it basically every game. Wade's just a kryptonite, and then you know, and then you got fucking even Aiden there is like challenging for those titles too. So it's like it's rough out there, man. Like Korea's competitive in that position, and so you can't have Flora out here just like every now and then maybe putting up one clip when his competitors are doing it so often, you know, so consistently.
I agree with you. I'm not defending Flora here, but people go with the proven until they don't, I guess. So we'll see. We'll see. See here, Flora just done enough. Flora's done enough.
He's done enough.
Got a couple of
He got
frags.
one kill.
There,
He's
finish
done
off,
enough.
boosted the stats. Got a final blow, boosted the stats. Here you go.
He's like
Just done
he's like the dollar menu at McDonald's. It'll be just enough, you know. It'll give you a couple
The dollar
calories to get
menu
by.
at McDonald's.
It gets you the calories to get by. It's just barely enough, you know what I'm saying? But you're not excited about it. It's not a double quarter pounder.
It's like the killer on Netflix. Go to McDonald's, just eat the burger, not the bun. Get the protein. Skip the bun.
That's what they do.
Just enough. Just enough. Yeah, that's what he did. That's what he did.
They
in
have good.
Paris.
It's good macros. Good macros for the McDonald's burger.
Yeah,
We've been
just-
getting McDonald's too much free fucking advertising on this episode.
We have, yeah.
I haven't had McDonald's in probably like a decade, I think. So it's been a while.
Missing out.
Missed the
Anything
Shamrock
else
shake.
there? I feel like we hit most of it.
Are there any
Did a
other
good job.
teams we haven't talked about? Let's have a look. I'm gonna look at the list one more
I
time.
don't think. I mean, we didn't. Everything else is like kind
Oh,
of
so
like.
want to talk about Japan?
There's nothing else to really talk
Yeah,
about.
real
with
quick.
Them.
If you want,
I'll mention
yeah.
before we go to Japan. One comment. Vec look better than last Vec. Vec have improved as a team. Just really quickly. That's all.
Sure, they're not excited. They're
to an
still not
extremely-
exciting though.
Yeah,
They're
not
still
to an
though.
exciting degree, but they've definitely improved since before. Which before they were bottom tier, now they look better than bottom tier. They look better than onside. Now we can talk about Japan.
Barrel.
It's
3-0?
only quick. I'm gonna be
Wow,
honest. These
holy
games-
3 Overwatch.
Yeah, these games kind of not good. The top teams versus the bottom teams are just not good games most of the time. I'm gonna be honest. Top Dragon's not played yet, by the way, for Barrel. Not played yet.
Can't wait.
Yet. Obviously, Edison is still on Rejay with Kalios. Everybody's favorite team, Please Not Hero Band, by the way, is still in there. So RLG, the Tor player, he's still in there. And Uyu, the Korean tank, the ball OTP. Yeah, Uyu meaning milk in Korean. So milk, the hamster player. There's only been 3 games and they were kind of bad. I'm gonna be honest, but it was cool to see Edison. He's good. He's still really sick. He's just permanently playing in Japan now. It feels like. I don't think any Korean team's gonna pick him up. Oh, and one more player that no one's gonna fucking remember, or maybe Connor actually. Connor, do you remember Water, the Korean Genji player?
Yeah, I mean,
remember.
I know
he is
Water.
Water.
I know
I'm
Water.
glad you remember it as well. Yeah, ZG.
He still has the Glad's Legion profile
the
pic on the
Glad's Legion.
Wikipedia.
He's on the red team.
Damn.
The red team name. If you go to
He's Korean playing for a Japanese team?
yes, go
Okay.
to the main page, Solomon. ZG there at the bottom.
Oh yeah, didn't this dude had like an amazing month or something for
Yes. In
That
Contenders.
is Legion?
in
Yes.
Contenders, and he
Yes.
was like it was like the Twitter aura farmer for Genji, because everybody was like, he is the greatest Genji
He
to
has
ever
insane
exist.
clips. Yeah, his clips
does
are
have-
pretty,
he would-
pretty,
he
pretty
does
crazy.
Because I
have
think he's
insane
got like
clips.
because he also has projectile like crack cocaine sensitivity, I believe.
Yes,
So like
he has high
literally
sense.
was built in a lab to farm projectile like flex DPS clips essentially, and then he disappeared off the face of the earth.
He has
I can
some,
tell you what happened.
Like, oh no, he has some ridiculous Genji deflect clips, but he was also, I believe this was the time that Kefri was on this roster. The what fucking Global Esports. Global Esports, the team with Kefri on it.
Sorry?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did the
Kefri-
ones.
Kefri paid for this, yeah.
Jeffrey played for this. Not only did he
He
play,
only played Widow.
I can't remember if the team paid him to do this or he just did it on his own. But he flew out to Korea to
Yeah.
be with the team at their team house.
was in Singapore.
Actually, no, they were. There was a Korean team. They were in Korea. He flew out
Global
to Korea.
Esports?
Yeah,
I thought they
Global
were
Esports, not
APAC.
Korean team.
I thought they were APAC.
no, they
Or
were
were
had
they
a full
competing
Korean
in
team.
Korea?
They had a full Korean team.
Oh, okay.
But I
that
thought
season.
I thought there was an APAC team though. This might have had a Korean roster still, but I thought it
No,
was an APAC team.
so they I can't remember. They might have played in the PAC region. They probably played in the PAC region.
They did.
The PAC region was full of like 6 out of 8 teams at any given time were full Korean teams, including this one, with the exception of Kefri. Here's a fun fact about him flying up there. I don't think he actually stayed with the team because he also brought his then wife with him. I think they stayed together, but they both went to Korea.
That's a lot of lore.
For him to play in this team. It's quite a bit of lore. It's my
That's quite a
Kefri lore
lore.
dump for the day.
A little.
But
yeah.
here's some more lore. This time not
Water's
about
on
Kefri.
ZG now, which is cool.
Water's career was ended, in my opinion, me as a lore keeper and archivist of old players like this, his career was ended by Patapan at the Contenders Gauntlet on Gladiators Legion. There was the famous series he had versus it was Talent. Patapan was on Talent Esports. Face was the coach of that team, by the way. And it was a Doom meta. It was a heavy Doom meta led by Sparkle and Element Mystic, of course. But you also had Water on Doom and Patapan on Doom. And Patapan, I believe, for 4 fights in a row on Hollywood A, one-shot punched Water and killed him first fight 4 times in a row, something like that. And after that moment, Water was never the same. And he basically, his career was basically ended after the game. I'm not joking. After that game, Water's career basically ended. Patapan literally punched his career out and completely
I
eliminated
need
his
to watch
career.
that game again. That sounds fucking crazy. I can't remember that.
Yeah.
Was that Gauntlet?
That was Gauntlet. Talon versus GE. Glad's
Gladiators.
Legion. Talon versus
Legion, yeah.
Glad's Legion. I believe it was a was it this game? Yeah, Hollywood.
Who
See that
cast
Hollywood in the
that
middle?
game?
Hollywood A. Who casted this? Was it me or was it you? One of
It
us casted this
probably
game.
wasn't me. If my
It
memory's
might have,
pretty bad.
It might have
but-
been. If it was you and you just forgot, that's funny. It might have been me, but I specifically remember this game because I was looking out for both Water and Patapan as huge up and comers, and Patapan dominated Water. And because Water's hype was so high at the time, and Patapan wasn't nearly as hyped, it was a pretty big deal, at least in my mind.
Yeah. Solomon, is there a VOD there? There's the little YouTube link. I'm not sure if the VOD is. It is.
Yo.
It's me and Harry? Holy shit.
Oh, and Muse is on that roster too, which also is
Yeah.
playing in OWCS Japan.
He is for Lazuli.
Oh, bro's back.
Yeah, Muse
Yeah.
is playing.
Brother
Lazuli.
Muse is back.
Oh, dude, look
And
at
he's
that
playing with
Legion
Underseed
roster, man. They have fucking stand one.
Emil?
Emil,
Oh,
the coach
yeah.
of
Emil.
who is Emil coaching in VCT, or is he coaching someone right now? I think he's coaching Emil VCT Valorant. Let's see. He is coaching he was coaching Liquid. He was Liquid.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's not currently, I don't think he's currently coaching, but he was coaching for Liquid in 2023
Dude,
in Valorant.
I have the funniest fucking story about Rolf, by the way. So I sold my old AT2020, the Sennheiser AT2020 microphone, Audio Technica, sorry, AT2020, to this guy, and I was wearing a Fuel hoodie, and it just had literally the smallest embroidered thing in the center that just says Fuel. And he's like, "Oh, is that a sports team?" I was like, "Oh no, it's like an esports team." And he was like, "Oh right,"
Not
and
real
I was
sports.
like, "Yeah." He was like, "Oh right, okay." He's like, "What game?" I was like, "Oh, Overwatch." He's like, "Oh, do you know a guy called Rolf?" I was like, no. I mean, I was like, yeah, I cast him a few times, like I commentate him, and he's like, yeah, my friend used to play with Rolf all the time. They were really good. And I was like, what the fuck? Motherfucker knows Rolf? Like, of all players, he comes to me and says, Rolf. Like, it's so weird. There was the strangest bit of
Goated.
Rolf lore.
Also, unrelated to
time.
all that, holy shit, was
Yeah.
this meta so fucking bad that I'm watching.
Yeah, dude, the Doom.
This like Orisa
all
pool
about
Doomfist
punching-
Reaper. Yeah.
This was-
Doom made it good. If it wasn't for the Doom,
did
I would have
make
clawed
it
my
good.
eyes out.
This was
I mean,
peak.
but
I
it's
couldn't
so
queue ranked.
fucking bad. Lucio
The game around this
Moira,
time was so
like Orisa
It was
pools
dog
with
shit.
Doomfist Reaper. This is so fucking heinous. I can't believe this.
People asked me to queue the game and just play Orisa every single rank game. Like, fuck, man.
It
That
sucks because
so
it was all
depressing.
about the Halt Doom. Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. Padapan just did it. The
Halt punch,
Meteor
Halt
Strike.
punch.
Halt rock.
And then your
Yeah.
Reaper gets to like live and like hopefully once all the cooldowns get used, he can walk
He
forward and
death
press W
blossoms
and Q.
just like this.
Oh,
It was
brother, this guy
awesome.
stinks. Looking at this fucking meta.
Oh,
You
my
know,
God.
dude, another thing about that event, by the way, that was kind of BM. AVRL, you definitely remember this shit, but like, you know, Overwatch League, Seth and Wolf were in Overwatch League at this point, and I don't know who made that decision,
Oh,
but they
you-
were like,
I can tell you.
yeah, we're gonna have Seth and Wolf cast the
This
finals,
guy hates
the
Seth and
grand
Wolf. Just want to say
finals,
that.
the grand finals of Gauntlet, which is like the pinnacle
Whoa,
of
whoa,
like
whoa,
tier
whoa.
2
Okay, wait.
competition.
Okay, now wait here. Now, first of all, we're going to talk about people being maligned. ZP and I weren't even asked to do Gauntlet, and our asses
Yes.
were. I mean, come on, brother.
Yes,
like,
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it was
Well,
like a
well, okay,
little
okay.
BM that
In-
like
In a fair world, this is what was supposed to happen. Seth and Achilleo, Seth is
Seth and
Seth and Wolf.
Achilleos.
Seth and Wolf, it was actually all, no, Seth and Wolf were only meant to be at that event in like an advisory, coaching, helping the other casters kind of way.
Yeah, the time.
which is the
in-
dumbest,
in
stupid
real-
shit I've ever heard in
In
my
the
life. I don't know
reality,
what the fuck
so
they're talking about.
what actually happened? So you actually want to know the real backstory. The reason why they were even hired for that event is because they needed to like go back to Korea and do the whole visa, like basically re-enter
Oh,
the
it
country
was
for
the
visa
visa thing.
purposes.
Yeah, yeah.
And like they needed to be hired again as part of the visa process. So Blizzard Korea, by working this event, could put it into the visa thingy. You know, it counts as working in Korea. Blah 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 blah. So they got hired so they could do that process. Right, that was what it's all about. But then they kind of like became casters on the event as well.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like in like for a tier 2 event like this in a just world, obviously I like those guys and you know it's fine, they work whatever. But you and ZP should have probably have been casted over them. It would have been the
Over
three
them.
duos.
Yeah. And they
It would have been
Like,
the
we
three
would've-
duos of the region. It would have been the three
Yeah.
duos of the
It would have
region.
been the it was the three contenders duos would have been casting the contenders event. Yes.
Yes.
So I'm
And, like,
sorry,
Seth
you got
knows
cucked
this.
by Seth and the Wolf, but you got
Yeah,
cucked
and
by
I
Seth
will
and the Wolf.
never forgive you, Seth and Wolf. I will never forgive you. That's why I
was
went
just-
to your wedding and dropped that glass, so the bartender got really mad at me.
Oh,
That's why.
yeah, you fucking did. Yeah.
I literally
Seth
brought this up 2
knows-
days ago, and for some reason it came up, and I was just like, "Oh, I wish I had gone to Seth's wedding in Korea because I
It was a
didn't go."
banger.
Yeah,
It was a good
Banger
time.
wedding. It was a really good
fun.
wedding. Yeah,
It-
everyone
it
got COVID.
Everyone got COVID.
Everyone got COVID,
that way.
and Albert
don't think I
fucked
got
all the
COVID.
plumbing in the Airbnb. So
Yeah,
Albert literally destroyed the entirety of the
plumbing.
plumbing in the Airbnb. We were saying,
Oh my god!
and then
Oh, fuck, it was funny.
It was, yeah. And I got so fucking drunk. I was literally just absolutely. And I think that's what got me sick with COVID. Was my immune system was so
Yeah,
weakened
for sure.
from drinking at Seth's wedding that I got COVID. And I was literally deathly ill for like a day, and then I
That's
recovered.
not even the best part. The best part was how impressed you were by Seth's personal bartender being the most
Oh,
important
yeah.
man at the wedding.
Yeah, dude,
The best-
dude, his bar. Okay, this is not really over.
Here you go,
but
here you
I
go, here
have
you go,
to
here
say
you go.
this story.
I know the buttons to
This-
press. I know the buttons to press. Here we
This
go.
story is
Go,
so
son, go.
good though. At Achilleos Cast's wedding, we're doing this wedding. He's getting married to the love of his life, his wonderful wife, Sammy. Like, and then he had his like. The reoccurring most important guy in the wedding for Seth was like his bartender. It was like the dude that he goes to all the time to get his drinks made. This guy was like the he wasn't like the best man
fuck.
or anything, but he like essentially was, and he was like
He was up
central
there
in, like
with
every
Wolf, bro, like-
yeah, it was like him and Wolf, like his bartender and Wolf were the two most important guys in the wedding. He was like in all the photos. I remember we sat down in like the eating hall. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, who is this dude? I haven't even seen him before. And everyone's like, oh yeah, that says like bartender from like the
No,
bar.
you did.
He
We
goes-
went to his bar. No, we
Oh
went
yeah,
to
we
his
went
bar.
to his
but
bar.
not-
Yeah, we went to his bar. That's what it was. Yes. And I was like, wait, this is his bartender. Like, it was just the guy. It was his literal bartender. Oh, it was the most Seth thing of all
You
time.
didn't
It
say
was
the best
so
part. You
funny.
didn't even say the best part. The best part was in the official wedding photo where they get everyone together to take the official wedding photo. It's Seth in the middle. Next to him is his wife, and on his other side is his bartender. Those are two
Yeah, that's
important
right.
people. His wife on one side, his bartender on the other.
It's not even like his dad. It's not his dad or like his like Wolf
The
or
two
anything.
most
It's
important
literally
people in
just
his life.
His
His bartender and
bartender.
his wife.
Oh my god, that killed me. That
So
killed me
funny.
so hard when I saw that. It was fucking slaying me. Whew.
Dude, that gauntlet, damn, that was like one of the last events in that fucking arena too, man. OGN Arena.
Yeah.
Okay,
I remember
is
we
the-
walked into it. It was like
this is
under
the-
construction. Essentially, they were tearing
This
it
is
apart.
this is the
Tearing it
first and
down.
last big contenders land, and then COVID happened.
Yep.
2019.
Good
yeah.
times. Good times.
Yeah, we turned this into a contenders podcast. Congratulations.
Yeah.
We did it.
Well, you know, it's okay.
Coming back. Contenders is coming back.
I mean, this was peak Contenders. Yeah, it was like
It was, yeah.
golden age Contenders. Yeah, people left the gauntlet and was just like, "Whoa, what an amazing event! Like all the regions playing each other at a LAN. Oh my god!"
Yeah.
that
It was
was
actually
sick."
such a sick. It's also crazy too. I'm so pissed about this still to this day because also the only contenders land I got to cast was Atlantic Showdown, which is arguably the worst of them.
Krefeld won.
The Krefeld Germany Atlantic Showdown. We were in a room with no AC in Krefeld Germany. Like
a
300
basement,
European
bro,
people,
basically.
like just like
Yeah.
stuck in this basement. We're sweating. We're so fucking sweaty the entire land. I was
Yeah.
so fucking
And the
sweaty whole
food
land.
around Krefeld is dog shit. Apart from
Well,
one small
there was
Korean
one
restaurant.
sushi place. There was one like sushi, like Korean
Sushi?
place that was shot.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
we got
I think
sushi.
so,
People got sushi there.
There's
I
a
did not eat the
pizzeria
sushi.
next door
It
as
was
well,
good.
which is not good.
I had Budajige there.
Yeah.
They did have a doner kebab place pretty nearby as well.
But I was just like, I'm still salty about this event because I was like, damn, this was like a sick ass fucking event, like great hotel in Korea, and then I got Atlantic Showdown in Krefeld, Germany, where there was like literally heaps of dog shit lining the streets everywhere.
And do you remember we were in the prison hotel?
We were also in
The
the
li-
prison hotel with
the
no
pri-
AC.
the
The
hotel-
whole region
Right,
has no. Europe. It was 2019. Why did Europe not have air conditioning yet? It doesn't make any sense. Like it doesn't even make sense. Why is there not AC in Europe? It is like even at 2019, it doesn't make
The
any sense.
hotel, for context, was a literal converted jail. Like it was crazy.
Did you sleep in a cell? Did you actually sleep in a cell there?
You technically
it
were
kinda
sleeping in a
was.
cell.
It was
And
like- it
you
looked like a cell.
The rooms were kind of weird because obviously in jails there aren't too many windows. When there are, they're kind of small, and like people complained, like the players complained. We ended up moving hotel because the AC didn't exist.
They had
and it was-
AEV Paul, the owner of Atlanta. The owner of Atlanta literally like called in, like put the red telephone
called
hotline
in
to
and was like,
Blizzard.
"We are moving the
and
fucking
was like,
players because
you're
this is
getting my guys out of this
bullshit,
shit right now."
So
and we all
what?
had to move.
So hold on. What room did you get? Did you get cell block C or what?
Yeah, dude, it was.
And when
It was
you and
ridiculous.
hold up. When
And
you
it held
closed
the heat in like a motherfucker.
when you closed the door to your room, did you slide the bars through like that or what? How did you do it?
No, it wasn't like that. But I don't
Or
think
was
it
there a
was like,
central?
the
or was there a guard
doors
tower
were
in the middle
weird.
where someone presses a big button and then every single cell door closes, slides across? Is that how it was?
It was a very weird, and also like the breakfast. I don't remember. There was a hotel breakfast. I think the breakfast was literally the most German
just
thing of all time.
dog shit?
It was like oats and like lukewarm fish or something. It was like
Yeah, I can't really remember
Yeah.
the breakfast.
And I was like,
And they-
I'm like, this is the Throwapenetzel. The Throwapenetzel, one of our traditional Bavarian dishes. Like we put the oats and then we cover it in the fucking fish vomit, and it's all very warm and gross. And it's like, okay, what the fuck am I? It's all just.
It was
How much,
not good. It
How
was
much
not
yard
good.
time were you guys allowed?
Oh, not much. Casting
much
and then
yard
back,
time.
straight back to the
Okay.
room.
It's good. It's a good time. Good time. Good time. So yeah, let me just say I'm definitely not salty about the gauntlet. all these years later.
Yeah, I was there, but I'm definitely not salty about.
You did go.
None of the contenders,
I remember
motherfuckers,
you were there in the
doing the finals.
crowd, and Dogman was there in the crowd as well.
I was there. I was there.
And
still. I
Dogman was
decided-
yelling
I
at
Wasn't like all the
Obscenities from the
Overwatch
crowd.
League scouts in the crowd as well? Just like, oh, we're scouting
a
the
few
new
of them,
talent.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think most of the teams had coaches there. I remember I met Krusty there.
Not the Houston
sure-
Outlaws. Houston Outlaws were not there. They were not.
Well, that's because Flame did not believe in tier 2, as we all remember.
It's true. It's true. So
Trader
Everyone remembers
Smurf for
the Dante
Dante.
clip.
Yeah, you guys are with Pixie then, right, Avril?
I was, yeah.
Yeah, I always enjoyed your duo. It's a nice duo to listen to. I checked in with those games. What? So 2020 Gauntlet, was that just online? Was that the one that
Yeah.
was so sick? Because
Uh,
everyone
it
was scouting like the
it
Element
had to
Mystic
have been
players and stuff
online.
like that,
It was
right? They were-
online, and I believe the regions all had their own separate ones. It wasn't like a combined thing.
Right,
Yeah.
okay. Because I mean, these are some sick rosters for 2020. We don't need to carry on with that, but we don't need to carry on the Contenders vibes. But 2020 Gauntlet had like Stalker, Merit, Heesang, Chio.
That was
Like,
the
this is
land that
when
I discovered Bliss.
That
That's right,
generation
I personally
really,
discovered Bliss that land. Me
That was
personally.
you.
Yeah, it was me.
Kaffa was there. That's when some of those players like really, I guess, started coming up there from tier 2 to later being picked up. But there you go, a little tier 2 throwback.
The bidding war for Sparkle. I was there live. It was kind of crazy.
You were in the auction room. You were.
I was in the auction
When
room.
the gavel
I
hit
was with
the-
the people that were like trying to bid for him, obviously Paris and shit like that, and trying to negotiate those fucking deals and shit. And they were like, "Holy fuck!" Like the money was crazy for Sparkle. Crazy.
All right. There we go. Nice reminiscing with you guys.
it was
Good old times. Good old times.
Damn. Stuff used to be so good.
We were supposed to do an Overwatch fantasy team because we're Alex and we like playing it. Do you guys want to make a roster real quick here now? So obviously
let's
it
do it
sucks. We
quick.
missed out on week 1, but let's just be loose. Put together a nice little team here. Let's not overthink it. We don't need to spend a decade on this. So a mix of good players that are relatively cheap and a mix of good players that
I got you, fam. Let's just copy the number one.
Just copy
fantasy
the
guy
number
right
one
now.
on the leaderboard.
So
yeah.
Pussy
Did they
God,
change
so-
the? Did they change the cost? Well, so obviously all the Alcatia players, they did great. Because first of all, if you play Mauga, you get higher stats and you get more points. But
So
they,
true.
they
It's
had a
also
double
very
header as
weighted
well.
because some of these teams, like the Virtus Pros only played one match, for example, and stuff like that. So it's like I don't think like I think we shouldn't weight it too much. Like we should just try to pick what we think is best.
I think
personally
we should
stand
pick
by
players we
Rocket.
love.
I stand by Rocket being a perfect DPS value pick,
Agreed.
in my opinion.
I'm down to get Rocket. I'm down to get Rocket. on this.
$18 is not
Pretty
that
cheap.
much either.
no,
No,
Rocket
it's
is
good.
really
Good
cheap, and I
value.
think he's a very good value.
You know
Good
who the
value.
ultimate value pick is? Actually, this one was like kind of crazy to me. But I looked down the leaderboard list. I'm like, oh shit, these guys made a lot of points. Everyone who picked Yubi, which is extremely brave.
Okay,
because
but that is just
to imagine.
yeah, but that
to imagine
insanity.
to
That's
consider
insanity,
that
though.
Yubi was even gonna
It is
play at all
broken.
is insane.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Am I stupid?
Oh, it doesn't work? Oh, it's not working
broken?
apparently.
Wait, are you logged
Yeah,
in?
He's logged
Yeah?
in.
Sometimes it resets.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Quick, reveal the password.
We don't, but I think Solomon just created literally an email, so there's nothing tied to that. So
Got it?
Yeah, there you go. So
Nice.
yeah, so
Add
they're
Rocket.
perfect.
There you
yeah,
go.
sometimes
Brilliant.
it does have that. I think Rocket is 100% worth. I think
Yeah.
he's a very good value DPS overall. It starts to get
Agreed.
tougher on the supports. I
Okay.
personally have Gala, but I don't know.
Can we pick a superstar? Let's pick 125 cost
One
player
good
because I don't
superstar.
want.
Kevster.
I think we should pick Zero.
I think
we should pick Zero.
Zero's a good bet. Zero's a pretty good bet.
He's
honestly.
an insane stat farmer.
Zero's a
Always
good bet.
performs. Super consistent.
I was
Doesn't
gonna
get
say
held by.
Jay-
Doesn't get
Jay
held
would.
back by negative aura from a team like the Ultimates. So
Because here's the thing, I actually
Kevster
think
is better.
I
Come
actually
on.
think no, but here's the reason. The reason I'm gonna go with Zero is I think the NA top teams comparatively. I think even though I think EMEA is like, my opinions on EMEA. I do think there's gonna be more.
He hates the EMEA.
There's
This
gonna
guy
be,
hates
but
EMEA.
there's more overall. I still think there's more technically overall parity in EMEA than there is in North America.
Which means long series, good for stats.
But also bad for stats because more deaths. So I think typically Zero is gonna farm the bottom in A teams for like mega stats.
that's a good point.
Comparatively.
That
I
is a
think
good
Zero
point.
stat wise is gonna farm way harder than any of the European ones, and particularly in fantasy.
Okay. Look, I'm not super committed. I would love someone like Siad here though. I would love a Mauga tank. I want the Mauga tank
tank?
for the
You want a
damage and
Mauga
healing
tank?
numbers.
I think Ziad proved himself this weekend. Yeah, I go
Yeah.
with that.
What's our budget looking like here? Because we still have to do supports.
Yeah, we need to get some
57
cheap
budget.
supports later. It's fine. We'll
We
figure
should
out
all-
the supports
We
after.
all so okay. So Jules, you pick one. We all picked one each so far. I think.
Yeah, you gotta throw one out
I
there.
think
Avast
Ziad's
got his
fine. You
rocket
could go
pick.
with-
I got my Zero
You
pick.
could go with Painkiller.
Willis? You want to go with Willis?
No, I don't.
Come on,
Painkiller.
man. They took 2 man for VP.
It's a little early,
It's
unfortunately.
no, dude.
Johnny appealing to
Literally.
Sweden. Appealing to
Painkiller,
Swedish
man.
players.
Painkiller's
Logical
kind-
fallacy. Appeal to Sweden.
Painkiller's kind of cheap. He's only 19. It makes, and then we got a lot of budget for the.
They're playing
Wait, what does
Supernova.
the age have to do with this? Why did you bring that up?
Well, no, it's
costs
the point
19.
counts.
It
It
costs
costs
19.
man. It's the
Okay.
point cost, brother.
Oh, it's
So
like,
here's what
bro,
I'm worried about though.
brother was 19 years old.
Painkiller's got a good matchup against Supernova this week, but then playing Team Liquid.
Yeah, we just sub him out after next week.
Actually, they might just play Brawl and it's fine. They just
Oh, yeah,
farm each other's
maybe, yeah.
ass.
I think
Yeah,
another
yeah.
decent, another decent pick that's cheap is like Clear. I think is an okay pick.
Is he gonna farm
Eh?
stats? Isn't
I don't know
that a
what his
tank?
stats.
No, let's
Yeah, yeah.
let's just stick,
No, it's
let's
for a
just stick
tank.
with Painkiller.
Aren't we
I
doing
think Painkiller's
the?
probably a better stat farmer though. I think
Just stick
Painkiller's
with
probably a better
Painkiller.
stat farmer. Yeah.
Wait, I
Painkiller's
thought we
probably-
went with
one less
Ziad.
point.
Are we not doing
No,
Ziad?
no.
Well, Jaws wanted Painkiller.
You said Ziad. Jaws, the guy who said, let's pick your tank, Jaws. Jaws said Painkiller.
All right, I like this though. We got Painkiller, Rocket, cheap, valuable players. We rate Nightmare. Zeros are big, cost 25.
38. An average of 19 points for supports is not a lot, but we could maybe
No,
get
we can
one
make it work.
really
We can
good.
make it work.
We could get one really good support, potentially.
Calyx for 18 is kind of value.
Dude, Kelix and Landon, can we just pick both of them up?
No,
They're
we
both
can't afford Landon
18.
because Landon is 20.
Wait,
but we could
no.
get like Calyx and Vega or something.
Kelix and Landon.
That's not
right?
bad.
Kelix and Landon at 18 and 20. That's.
I
Do
mean,
we want
18
two
and 20?
flex
Oh, that's
supports or
right.
something or no?
You need one. You need a minimum one flex support. You need a minimum one flex support. Someone that's gonna.
But
play
do
flex.
we
need a
want-
minimum one.
No main supports and 2 flex supports then, or how do you?
I personally think you should have 2 flexes. In my opinion, I think 2 flexes
Flex
is
makes
ideal.
more
But the problem is, I don't think we have the point totals for that. I just don't think we have the point totals.
Why
to do
flex more
so.
expensive?
On average, all the flex players are more expensive. On average.
Okay.
Yes.
The goal is you don't want to pick big players.
Really?
Yeah, I
Dude,
think
choose
so.
Twilight.
Because I picked up Luke Camino. Not good.
What is a 17? Do we have any 17 costs?
Renko, Zerion, Zed.
I think an interesting one would be like if you were to get like a Gala or maybe even like one of the North American.
Gala's like
21.
22 points, bro.
21. So I think if you were to go
21
like
points.
if you were to go like CJ Gala, something around there, and then you go get like a Lep or something.
I think
wouldn't
Lep
be
is
too
good.
bad.
Well, we can't do Lep because we have 2 Nightmare players.
Oh, that's true.
Oh.
We can't do Lep. You
I
could do.
I think you pick up Kellex.
Kellex.
I agree. I think Kellex
Yeah,
is good value.
I think that would be reasonable. I think that could be a reasonable. The problem is I don't know if we have
Actually-
enough points in total, but
Actually, maybe not.
Actually,
why?
Maybe
what
not.
do you want to go for?
Why not?
Well, I'd rather have Landon, I think.
You'd rather get
Landon
Okay,
and
if we get
Kellex. Why not
Landon, if
just
we
go
get
for
Landon, we'll
both?
have
Just
18
both of them.
points. We could
Yeah,
get
just
literally
both of them. We've
Just
got
do
enough
both
points.
then. Do both.
Just do both. Yeah.
This is so stupid. We got 2
Sure.
Nightmare
Why
and 2
not? Why
Alcancia
not?
players.
Yeah,
I think
this
that's
is good.
good.
This is a good team.
I like it. I like the team.
It's not a bad. It's not bad. It's not bad.
I
That's
feel like
fun to
we're coming in late on the uptrend though on Alcancia.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, that's fine. What, you want to reverse the
Well,
clock,
what's their
bro?
next
Do you want
match?
to go back
What's their
to
next
the weak
match?
side?
Like because I'm so like what's the word for this? Like I'm going against the trend. I was like, oh, Gen G have a double header. Like, is there any? Can you buy low on any Gen G player?
Okay, Alcancia is they're playing Frost Tails, so I mean like they should farm. So I don't think that's a bad pick.
You hope they can get enough limbs. That it is
I
not
don't think
too
that's
hard of a
I
stomp.
don't think it's a bad pick, especially if they're playing like this rush comp, so Kellex can actually have impact. Like, I think this is
a
pretty
good team.
reasonable. I think it's pretty reasonable. My opinion.
The other suggestion I maybe would make is that you do like Siad tank and then Lep instead of Kellex if we can afford that. Can we please do that?
No. Here's the, no.
Please do
because
that.
But the thing is
Please
that
do it. You're so NA-pilled. Stop.
But no, because Painkiller's playing
have
Supernova,
Katya
man. They're
backline,
playing
right?
Supernova. You get the Katya. So you want to swap? Okay, okay. I see what you're saying because of the Malga, right? You want to swap because of the Malga.
I think Lep
So-
is great value for 16 as well.
Let's do the math. Take out Painkiller. Let's put in Ziad and let's see what we can. And take out
You'll have
Giants.
1 point left, right? If you
No,
choose
because
Lep and
Ziad is
Ziad.
21.
So yeah, let's take. Do you know how to take him out?
You click
on them.
You click on it and then you click remove.
Oh, it's not working. The website is bugged again.
No, this is the roster. That's the roster.
All right.
There you go.
All right. Well, okay. We tried, I think.
Yeah,
All right.
let's do
Well,
it.
we tried to change
Yeah.
it. I think Calyx is. We should not have gone for
It's fine.
Calyx, but
But you're gonna.
I'm being
look so
overruled, I
stupid.
suppose.
You're gonna be so stupid
Yes, you
when
are.
Alex gets like 40 limbs in the match. You're gonna look so dumb.
oh yeah,
This is
Calyx
good.
is gonna
Submit
pop
the
off
roster,
here.
Solomon.
Just
It is
let's just
done.
say like if
Success.
Ziad farms, Johnny, you can claim sole claim of like if we had Ziad have done better, you know.
I'm just salty because I kind of said like, hey, I think Ziad is undervalued going into this week, and then Ziad was like the highest performing player, and I didn't fucking get Ziad. Instead I had Kellan who got me like 5 points. So I'm just very salty.
Hey, I mean, listen, bro. I had fucking Gala who went to map 5, so I took a hit there, and then I had
Dude,
Seeker.
I think Canale had like minus 15 or something. So it definitely was worse. Have you already submitted the roster? I don't know if you can do this anymore. But
That's the perfect amount of points as well.
all right. Okay. Well, I got overruled, so I don't know anymore. I don't know if you want to.
No,
do this.
it's good. Our roster was good. Painkiller on tank.
I think it's
I-
just the Ziad change that would be significantly different. It's still pretty good.
So, all right. So our roster is looking like it's Painkiller, Rocket, Zero, Landon, and Calyx. Well, we gotta pray, I guess. Prayers up. Prayers up.
Prayers up.
Okay. Great. I think that's the episode. Every time I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a quick episode, and I'm surprised that we just keep finding ways to just keep talking forever.
Yeah, it's 20-6, bro.
There you go.
Yeah.
God of Squap was announced as well.
Punk is back. Rack Attack is back. And Hunter's face.
Hunter's face
right
is a
there.
fucking asshole. They made it. They did it.
I was really hoping for the Rack Attack Genji call up, man. This is one day.
It would
one
be.
day.
I think it would be. I mean, honestly, I don't think that would be necessarily inherently bad. Like it could be kind of interesting, but I do think it'd be very funny for Rack Attack to show up on the roster with Mag. There's something about that just is very funny to me, and I don't know why.
All right. They'll probably take Pacific by storm. So maybe we'll see them at the Mid-Season Championship. Bren's Player of the Week. If Matt was here, we might have gone on a traditional sports rant because Dallas Mavericks, they got the number 1 pick in the NBA draft after
Ooh.
trading away Luka Doncic. They had a 1.5% chance to get number 1, and they did it. And now everyone thinks it's rigged. So it's a lot of rigged conspiracy theories in NBA right now. People are just fucking, I don't know, world is on fire. Avast, who's your Brand's Player of the Week?
Friends Player of the Week. I mean, who else? Who else but Jaehong, huh?
Yes,
because
we gotta
and
do
here's
it.
and because they Old Ocean didn't correct me if I'm wrong, Avril, they didn't win last stage at all.
Oh,
No,
didn't win
they
a
got.
single
This
match,
is their
right?
first.
This is their first win.
Okay, if we don't count qualifiers, this is their first like OWCS match official win. So yes,
It's gotta be Jaehong, bro, for coming
Jaehong
back.
with his first win.
After a winless stage, Unk comes back literally 12 years older than the next oldest person on the team. 12
Yeah.
years.
that's a true fact.
Unk still got it. Except he really didn't do shit. But he just played Juno, kind of. He played Juno fine. That was really all he did. But for the meme of it all, you gotta give it to Jaehong.
You know what? I actually like that.
Yeah.
I'm down. Give it to Unk. Throwback to Contenders, and we give Rudy Honk
bro.
Brand's Player of the Week. There you go.
We're so back.
We're so back indeed. All right. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. It's been a treat. Thank you for
So true.
episode 266 of Plat Chat. If there's nothing else going on, I guess we'll see you next week. You all good? Okay? Everyone's chilling. Everyone's chilling. All
Yep.
right. Thank you so
Time
much
for
for
food.
producing. I think
Thanks,
we're out.
Solomon.